Right. How's it? We are back for another retro, extremely retro, volume 2. And today's topic is actually picked by our host, John Steele. We're a little light crew today since the holidays. It was Easter, so me and John John worked and I had nothing planned. So it's just the two of us, going today. So John, Jose, I see you're in the chat. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully, this is a subject that that brings some nostalgia back for you. But John, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about our topic tonight?
All right. So what we're doing tonight, guys, is this is going to be top 20 cartoons before the year 2000. So keeping with the retro theme and everything. And it's the Blu-ray hoarder. It's John Steele. So off the rip, you already know it's going to be a good fucking show. You know what I mean? So right there.
Yeah.
So I think we want to talk a little bit about like cartoons from when we were a kid, like what we remember fondly. We're not going to go into like titles yet, but just like, experiences that we had growing up as with cartoons and everything. The typical sitting down in front of the TV on a Saturday morning with a bowl full of cereal. A lot of people can relate to that. What about you, man?
Yeah, see, cartoons, I'm the youngest of 4 kids, so it was pretty much, and we were pretty, I wouldn't say poor, but we really didn't have a lot of, the amenities. So we had this big tube TV back in the day, no remote. You're talking with like those bunny ears. So I was pretty much fighting over, what I wanted to watch. So it was always, of course, my oldest brother, he got first choice, and then I have 2 older sisters. So when I want to watch some like G.I. Joe or Transformers, they of course wanted to watch Rainbow Bride or fucking M. So I got stuck watching those for a while, but I try to wake up real early and try to beat them to it, but I've always got pushed to the back burner. But yeah, I mean, as far as like my parents didn't want us to watch too much TV, but mainly they made us go out and play. But I would always go over to my neighbor's house. We didn't have cable, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, anything like that. So I'd always go over to neighbor's house or my aunt's house. I would always, catch those shows over there. For the most part, as you'll see from my top picks, all the way from the early 80s, I would say mid 80s was probably, majority of my choices. And a lot of them were, I caught on like a lot of reruns, because you know how a lot of the channels, the stations ran a lot of reruns. But yeah, I think between me and you, just knowing each other, we're going to have a lot of similar items. And it's a secret because we haven't talked we haven't talked at all about what's on our list. So it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. So do you want me to start?
Yeah, I just want to add, like, I could definitely relate to the whole, being poor, and like the only thing with me is like, I'm the oldest, so like I basically had pick of like what I was watching from a young age, from like we're talking mid 70s on, and it was just, once my brother and sister came along, then I had to kind of share certain other things. But I think both of them actually, and you can probably relate to this too. Maybe have been something that your older siblings watched that you related to, or something like that, as a younger sibling. So like it would be something I would watch. My brother would like say like, I don't know, Dukes of Hazzard cartoon or whatever, because he liked the Dukes of Hazzard show. He liked the Dukes of Hazzard cartoon or whatever it was, or Incredible Hulk or something like that. But definitely, man. So I guess if you want, brother, you can start off with your list, and then I'll go into mine, man. So we'll go. Are we gonna go 20? You know, you say your 20, I say my 20, or you're gonna go through your whole list?
Oh no, we're gonna go back and forth just because
Okay.
it gives us a break, and then also I don't want to spoil, you know, all your whole list by going first. So just one thing to add. Basically, a lot of the cartoons, um, you know, a lot of them derived from, you know, marketing toys. So a lot of companies would put out a line of toys and then later make, you know, a cartoon, or vice versa, a successful cartoon. They put out a whole line of toys. You have cartoons that are derived from comic strips, comic books, also cartoons that are adapted from film. So I got some examples of certain films that they made cartoons from. One being Back to the Future, Beetlejuice. Um, and then, uh, yeah, I mean, there's also, other than cartoons, I'm going to speak a little bit about the Saturday morning. Like, they had some shows like this one, which isn't a cartoon, but my brother, always got stuck watching it, and that's Land of the Lost. So I remember.
Oh,
seeing, yeah. So it's not a cartoon, but I wanted to just bring it up, just the fact that it's part of your childhood, or my childhood, so to speak.
Yeah, there's definitely other things other than more live action oriented. Like I would say, like the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff. You
Yep,
know, with that, you know, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, like, or H&R Puffin stuff like that.
definitely.
Kids shows Saturday morning, Sunday morning, whatever, but definitely, you know, part of our childhood too, man. So, yeah.
Right. Number 20 is my first pick, is because of my sisters and what I was forced to watch. It just it's pretty darn old. I think it's let me see. It actually uh, first aired between 1982 1984. Most of these, actually doing research, is most cartoons only last 1 or 2 seasons. It's very rare to have, you know, cartoons um, go more than a couple seasons. You'd be surprised at some of the ones that, you know, I say. Sometimes they reboot it, like bring it back and upgrade it, which I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But this cartoon, 23 episodes. I do have the theme song, so hopefully we don't get flagged, but maybe you recognize it. Sounds dated. Can you hear that?
Who do you call when you're caught in a jam? Too scared to stay.
Too scared to scram.
You call Digger.
And Monkey.
Know what that was?
Hey, was it Shirt Tails?
It was the Shirt Tails.
Right, man.
So, anyone in the live chats heard of Shirt Tails? So basically, this cartoon was animals that wore, I think it was red shirts, but however they felt, or their, you know, their personalities or the way they acted, it would appear on their shirts. Like if someone was sad, you know, there might be a boo-hoo, or you know, someone was happy, there might be like a smiley face on it. So pretty much the whole premise of this is that they, you know, there was I think it was like a park ranger, a groundskeeper. His name was Mr. Dinkle. Uh, and you know, they were trying to help out like little kids in need, and that, trying to be good Samaritans, good, you know, good animals. They would be like little heroes of the day, but they would always get like chased around by Mr. Dinkle. So that just, I mean, that's something that I probably couldn't watch like right now, but it was just something that I remember like in my earliest years. I think I was like 3, 4, 5,
Wow.
the earliest when I watched that. But I remember that, and there's a couple more in my honorable mentions that are very similar. Like a lot of these cartoons, you're going to see there's like a popular version and then some, you know, ghetto ass versions of it that people try to copy. But yeah, number 20, Shirt Tails.
Can I add to that? Hoarder, didn't they have like some like cool way where they could do stuff inside their tree or whatever, and like they just had some, like they had gadgets or whatever. They had a way of sneaking around the park or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah,
if I remember right.
yeah, like poles, ropes, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot. I mean, the main, usually with cartoons, they always try to have like morals and stuff, and I guess this one is like a lot had to do with like, you know, don't litter and that type of stuff, keeping, you know, the animals, you know, in their environment, and teamwork. A lot of it was them, you know, using teamwork, whether climbing each other's shoulders to reach, you know, something
Yeah.
like a cat stuck up in a tree or something like that.
I do remember that, man. Wasn't there a monkey with in
Yeah,
part of their?
his name was Bogey, and he the reason why Bogey, he did like little impersonations of Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there was a mole, Digger the mole. He was good at digging. There was TJ the tiger.
The raccoon, right?
Yep, Kip the kangaroo, Rick the raccoon, and believe it or not, the voice of Kip the kangaroo was the lady Nancy Cartwright who did Bart Simpson's voice.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Cool little fact right there. All right, so that's Shirt Tails. What do you know what company put it out? Quarter? Like,
I don't. I'm assuming it might be. Oh no, it was Hanna-Barbera.
oh, cool. Yeah, like on my list, I didn't always get to write every single animation company that put forth these cartoons, but like a lot of them I do have. But I think for my number 20, a lot of people aren't gonna know this because I am, you know, basically I'm a child of the 70s and 80s. I was born in the 70s. So for my number 20, I have a cartoon that aired between 1978 and 1980, and that is Fang Face. And subsequently it was Fang Face and Fang Puss, because there was, you know, a werewolf, dude that turned into a werewolf, and he had like one fang. That's why I call him Fang Face. He had one tooth, one long tooth, and then there was a baby, like, so they called it Fang Face and Fang Puss. Produced by Ruby Spears back then. Ruby Spears did quite a few cartoons back in the day in the 70s and 80s and stuff. So Fang Face, I've always loved werewolf stuff, like movies and anything with cartoons. So at number 20, Fang Face is my number 20. So
Okay.
Yep.
Never heard of it, but that doesn't mean, you know, I wouldn't recognize it if it was on.
Mm-hmm.
I got something further along the same lines. Okay. Let's see if I can play the next song. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted. Hopefully there's no commercials. All right, my number 19. All right, no commercials. From 1983 to 1985.
Come a little, always running to and fro. Here come a little.
So the cartoon is The Littles, based off a children's novel in 1967. It premiered on ABC, has 29 episodes, and it lasted 3 seasons. Are you familiar with the show, John?
I am surprisingly, that is one cartoon I did not dig at all. Like for some reason, I could not wrap my head around. I could not get into that cartoon, but I know a lot of people loved it. It was just one that like I didn't really like too much. But yeah, I definitely remember it though.
Okay.
So.
I think at the time, I don't think I remember watching it that early. I think I watched it around the time the movie The Borrowers came out. So, with John Goodman. So that maybe like this cartoon show. But basically, it was like little people that lived in the walls. There was a 13-year-old boy, Henry, that would always help him out. And he had his pet turtle called Slick that would help him get around. But there was always that, I don't know if it belonged in the house. It probably is the pet cat, but there was always that black cat that used to always spoil their adventures. But their main enemy was a doctor not a doctor, but he was like a scientist that he never saw a little, but he could always had proof of them and wanted to catch them to have proof to everyone that they existed. So that was kind of the whole plot. Right?
Yep. All right, so that was Hoarder's number 19. My number 19 is kind of a lesser known one too. But if you're a cartoon head, you'll remember it, and that is a cartoon from 1985 to 1986, put out by Hanna-Barbera, Galtar and the Golden Lance. The premise of this was basically kind of like magic and medieval, hence the name Galtar and the Golden Lance, magic and wizardry and just kind of medieval type of stuff. And the Golden Lance was like this, actually wasn't a lance, it was actually shorter, but it got bigger. But it was a cool cartoon. It didn't last that long. Like Hoarder said, some of these cartoons only ran for like maybe a year or two, others longer, but that was one that I remember. So that's my number 19, Galtar and the Golden Lance. If you're not familiar with it, these are also things that you can look up. There are actually some channels, retro channels, that still play these cartoons. I know in Canada they had a channel. I was reading up on this, that they play a lot of retro cartoons. Others kind of fell by the wayside, some of these channels that were playing the retro cartoons. But there are ways to still go out there and find, these things that you may be unfamiliar with. That's my number 19.
All right. Another one that I'm not familiar with, but I'll go check that one out. My number 18, a little bit newer, it aired from 1990 to 91, but gets a lot of reruns played. So that is Disney's Tailspin. It's, of course, an adaptation of the 1967 film Jungle Book. 65 episodes. Actually, only one season, believe it or not. But it had a lot of the same characters. It had Baloo. He was a bush pilot of a air freight service, and his little sidekick was Kit Cloud Kicker. Their company was Hire for Hire, and the lady in it was Rebecca Cunningham, and their arch rival or villain was the pirate Don Carnage. That's my number 18.
18. Coming in at number 18 for me, and some of you may be surprised that I have this so far down on my list, but I did like it, but it wasn't one of those ones where like I rushed home after school to watch it. It was definitely one that I remember kind of being on after school, and then during syndication it would run like at other times. But and that is it's actually put out. Think Hasbro now. Think toys, and this is what Hoarder was talking about earlier with toys becoming cartoons or vice versa. But that's G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. Between they had a few spin-offs, I believe, but this is the original one from 83 to 86. So G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. I may have had a couple of the toys back then. I think I was more geared towards other stuff, but definitely had a couple G.I. Joes, not a lot. And it, like I said, it is that far down on my list because it wasn't one of my ones that I rushed home to watch all the time. So that's G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero from 83 to 86. Number 18.
Hey, ironically, my number 17 is G.I. Joe.
Whoa!
Joe! We'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is the G.I. Joe!
So my friend collected a lot of G.I. Joes, and we would play with these figures, in the little mud and pretend that they're in the jungle, and then have like water from the hose to make like a river and shit. But the thing with G.I. Joes back then is that little rubber band that connected the waist and the stupid torso would snap on a lot of them, and so
Yep.
we made makeshift ones with rubber bands, and that hardly worked. Made them a little bit stiff, but yeah, I used to be always jealous. He on occasion would let me borrow a few of them for the weekend, and I'd bring it back to school. But yeah, he had everything. I remember him. His mom would always put stuff on layaway at Kmart, and he would get every single vehicle, every single action figure. But yeah, I Joe, number 17.
It's funny because you say that, and then it makes me think of like a lot of times like the toys and shit. Like if we would have kept those, you in the 70s, 80s, you didn't know like, oh, I'm gonna keep this in the box because one day it's gonna be fucking worth money. You had no clue. You just wanted to fucking rip the shit open, throw away the box, and start playing with it and make your own worlds and stuff. But definitely, there are some people who like maybe there was a lot of people. They tend to be more the only child type, and nothing against that, but it's just the fact that I have a friend who was an only child, and he still has some of his original Transformers, G.I. Joes, and Star Wars figures till this day. If you had siblings, older, younger, whatever, you were basically ripping shit apart and like doing all kind of crazy shit with your toys. But I know Hoarder can relate to that, but definitely, man. So
You know what? Hindsight's 2020, but basically you're not gonna enjoy it. Your childhood's gonna, if you're more worried about keeping it intact, how fun is that? When you're a kid, you want to get into that and pretend like you want to actually touch, feel, and pretend like you're the toy. So if you had the money back then, buy two, one to play with, one to store. But who knew at the time that it was limited?
Yep.
I think we're on number
17.
17 for you. Yeah.
17, coming in at number 17. There were a lot of I want to say the word correctly, but there were a lot of anthropomorphic type of shows like this back in the day where animals were type of like humans and stuff, if that makes sense. Okay. More human like animals walking on two legs and such. So my number 17 is Tiger Sharks from 1987. And interestingly enough, Larry Kenney, who voiced Lion-O in Thundercats, also voiced one of the main characters in this Tiger Sharks, cartoon as well. It's basically it was basically Thundercats, but with like marine animals. Okay, and a lot of you who have seen it know what I'm talking about, and you know, fighting off enemy forces and such. So along the same lines, I mean, they had some of the same voice actors too. So Tiger Sharks at number 87. If you don't know about it, go check it out. That's it.
Okay. I'll talk more about that later. That's a little bit higher. My number 16 is, let me pull up the music, the intro. It's an old one. So this is actually older than Shirt Tales. 1979, but it ran 3 seasons. And that is very. I memorized the song.
We're off to outer space. We're leaving Mother Earth to save the human race. Our star blazer.
So, Star Blazers. It's an adaptation of the 1974 cartoon, Japanese anime, Space Battleship Yamato. So, basically, Earth is attacked and humans have to go underground because of all the radiation. And so, his name is Captain Avatar. He leads, you know, a bunch of what you call it, heroes in a spaceship. It's actually a sunken ship that they make into a space battleship called the Argo. Are you familiar with this cartoon?
Yeah, I am. I don't think I watched it as much, but I am familiar with it. I mean, the song is like one of the ones that you're not gonna forget. You know what I mean? But I don't think 1979. There was probably something else during that time I was watching more. So you got to think back in the day also that your basic TV, you had VHF and UHF. So, you know, you're turning knobs and stuff. I think like VHF channels back in the day, for me at least, were, you know, the top ones that played these were ABC, CBS, and NBC played most of these cartoons. So you would try to switch up the channel like to catch something or a little bit of something, but you weren't always able to watch full episodes. You'd be more interested in what you wanted to watch. So that was pretty much for me. But I do remember it.
I mean, especially the Japanese original Battleship Yamato has like a cult following. You'll see a lot of people like SKINSLIP and his crew who did like marathon of the episodes on their Saturday night live streams. But
yep.
That was my number 16.
Okay, so coming in, hopefully I have it here with us. Nope, I don't have that. That's the one I was looking for. I couldn't find on my shelf. But coming in at number 16 for me is a show that came from 1983 to 85. And it's actually based on a board game. And this show is Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon Dungeons and Dragons. That's my number 16 between 1983 and 85. I don't know. I really liked that show quite a bit. I liked the villain in it. I liked the whole thing of like, kind of like, I guess if you think they're going into another world or they're time traveling, if you guys remember it, they went on a roller coaster and all of a sudden they're in this kind of like mythical land with the little dungeon master, kind of like a Yoda type of character and stuff. So that was definitely one of my favorites growing up between 83 and 85. Dungeons and Dragons coming in at number 16.
Bam!
Yeah. Yep, that's the same one I got. I just can't find it there.
Yeah, I got this cheap. I haven't checked it out yet, but shoot, this is like $10 for the whole 27 episodes.
Yep. Yeah, pretty short run. You know, at 27 episodes, there was only like what, one season on that. I think if 83 to 85. Yeah. So, you know, and it's sad too because you think like there's some shows that you just absolutely loved as a kid. You're like, why didn't they make more of these? You know, and then there's others you're like, okay, why didn't they make less of these? But definitely, that's cool that Hoarder had that too, man.
All right, number 15.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not familiar with this the music, but I remember watching this because I was big on wrestling at the time. That is Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. It aired on ABC or CBS Saturday mornings, 1985 to 86, 2 seasons, 26 episodes, and of course, main character was Hulk Hogan, Junkyard Dog, Captain Lou Albano, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Hillbilly Jim, Tito Santana. Most of those guys, you know, are not even alive anymore. And then, just like at the time, the heels, the bad guys were Roddy Piper, Iron Sheik, Cabroni, Nikolai Volkov, Louis Moolah, Big John Studd, and Mr. Fuji, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. So it just took, you know, their characters, put it in animated form, and that's what I remember. But that was the time where, you know, WrestleMania became popular, and wrestling was on like Saturday night main event. So I got into that, and you know, watching the cartoon, watching wrestling at the time, we would do that in the backyard. But yeah, my favorite character at the time was King Kong Bundy.
Oh, sure.
That's my number 15.
Yeah, that was your number 15, right?
Yes.
Actually, yeah, I do remember that. You know, when I was a kid, me and, you know, a few of my friends were, you know, big into wrestling, all those same wrestlers and stuff. Actually went to a few matches with a friend of mine. Him and his dad, they took me because they were, you know, like Hoarder, I was poor growing up, so there was no way I was going. Plus, my family didn't even own a car, so yeah. But besides all that, anyway, I do remember the show. I think it was fun and it was pretty cool. So, my next one coming in at number 15. It was part live action, but also part cartoon. So, and it had a band, and it aired from 1984 to 85. And I really dug the girl that was in the band. And the name of the show is Kid Video. So, wow. Yeah, that one that comes in at number 15 for me. It was, you know, basically they were like this little kind of like garage rock band or whatever. There was like, I think it was 3 boys and 1 girl. And then they ended up in, I think they called it the flip side. And there was like a main bad guy on the flip side who was always trying to do stuff to Kid Video and all. But they would play like live songs, like I think during and after. But it was part live action and mostly animated. But it was pretty fun, and cool one. If you guys haven't seen that one, go look up Kid Video, KIDD video. So,
okay.
You remember that one, Hoarder?
I don't. Number 14.
But he just won't be undone. Playing pranks on everyone.
Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, 1984-85, 2 seasons, 86 episodes. So pretty much it was kind of a poor man's Garfield. It's actually derives from France. So I guess it was all in French. And I guess it came to Canada, then the US. So basically you had you know, Heathcliff, who was kind of, you know, sort of like a tough good guy. Kind of, you know, he wasn't afraid to fight, cheat, or steal. His love interest was that little fluffy Persian cat called Sonia. Um, and then his allies, he had Knuckles that wore the pink hats. And you know, they lived in like a junkyard basically. So in order to get food and stuff, they would always have to, you know, fight over it. And some of the, you know, other cats in the junkyard was Riff Raff, Hector, Woodsworth, the guy, the white cat on roller skates, and then Mungo and Cleo. So
Mungo was like the bigger stupid one, right?
yeah, so a lot of the actual, you know, why I like the cartoon. I mean, the intro had a lot to do with it, man. You hear that song, Heathcliff, Heathcliff. You know, it's like, oh shit, Heathcliff's on. So I always preferred that over Garfield. I don't know. There was something about Garfield that just got kind of monotonous for me with the lasagna and Odie, yeah. So what was the guy's name? Dave, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Dave.
Yeah, but I believe, you know, Garfield came from a comic strip.
Yep.
So, yep, number 14, Heathcliff.
Yeah, that's another interesting point you bring up about the whole Garfield and stuff, because to me, like, I think Heathcliff was more like, you know, if I can say it, kid friendly, and then Garfield like kind of was like, you know, more adult themed, like not geared towards adults, but just you know, it had that vibe, like kind of like you got bored with it a little bit more easy than you got bored with Heathcliff, if that makes sense. What do you think, Hoarder?
It was a little bit more, you know, gritty to me. Heathcliff was like, you know, lovable with like, he always like eating a lot of food and stuff. But hey, that's why we're having this discussion, man. Different opinion.
All right, my next one coming at number 14 is actually, it's based off a Belgian comic put out in the 50s by the artist Peyo. But the cartoon came out between 1981 to 89, and it featured these little blue characters, 3 apples high, called the Smurfs.
Okay.
You know, you had Gargamel, who was the main, you know, antagonist. He was the main bad guy in it. Azrael, the cat. You know, they ultimately created Smurfette. She first had black hair, and you know, somehow she became good and was blonde after that. And you know, you got a whole village worth of males, and then only one female until much later. The grandfather and the little Smurfs came along after that. They were like younger than all the rest of them. But I mean, that's a show that you know, it was, I mean, if you're talking about a show from like, not a show, but a comic from the 50s that eventually came a show, cartoon show in the 80s. You know, and it spawned movies most recently, and it also had, you know, toys. So Smurfs, now something like my wife like remembers fondly, and she actually was able to get a few of the little figurines from back in the day. I think they used to sell them on Avon books as well, if I remember correctly. So that's the Smurfs. That's coming in at number 14 for me. So
wow. So speaking of the Smurfs, you hear the little conspiracy theory behind the Smurfs?
No.
That basically they were like white supremacists with their little white hats being the hoods, and their enemy was Gargamel, who was the greedy Jew. So that was, you know, that's just stuff that I researched on. But you know, who knows?
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's just like, you know, that's
you can
make
it.
Yeah, because they had blue skin, so they had like, you know, if they were white supremacists, they wouldn't be blue; they'd be white with white skin with maybe blue hats or whatever. But who knows, man? You know,
Yeah.
there's all kind of theories out there, but when you're a kid, you don't watch it for like you don't pick apart these fucking things until you're an adult, and then you're thinking more concrete and stuff like, oh, well, this is a metaphor for this, and this is a metaphor for this. When you're a kid, you just enjoy watching the fucking thing. You know what I mean? So that's it.
How does the intro go?
Number 14 for me, the Smurfs.
How does the intro go for that?
Oh God, you really want me to do it? La 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 la. Sing a happy song.
Number 13. Another Disney one.
They sing out in chorus, march as their song fills the air. Gummy bears.
So that was my jam, dude. Gummy Bear ran from 1985 to 91. So one of the more popular ones. Aired on NBC, 6 seasons, 65 episodes. Basically, adaptation from the candy. Gummy Bears kind of meet Robin Hood type feel.
Hmm?
Characters included Gruffy, Zoomy, Grammy, Tummy, Sunny, Cubby, and Gusto. And, you know, their powers when they drink gummy berry juice, it made them bounce real high. So I guess if the bad guys, they've always wanted the juice that needs a little bit. So they would get really strong, I guess. But the ingredients had to be precise. So Disney's Gummy Bears. You got anything to add on the Gummy Bears?
Nothing really. I did watch a few episodes of that. Once again, you know, like the whole anthropomorphic like type of animals like acting human, and there was always like usually some kind of like, you know, humans in those type of shows too. Because if I'm not mistaken, there were the gummy bears, but wasn't there like some people that lived in a castle or something like that?
Yep.
Like, yeah, I remember that. So yeah, that Gummy Bears was pretty cool, man. That was one of the cooler Disney ones, you know, back then.
Yep.
So, all right. Coming in, check this out. Coming in at number 13. Only ran for 13 episodes. Ironic. From 1981. So this is going a bit back. Not a lot of people are going to remember this because this only basically had one season. And I want to show you guys something after I show you this, because I think this is one that I don't know if the toy spawned the cartoon or vice versa. That I'm unclear on. But that is Black Star.
Damn,
The Black Star. And you see him riding the dragon. They had that toy. So that is the complete series. There's only 13 episodes. And like I said, that's one that I wish they would have, you know, kept going on. And right now I'm going to turn around. I'm going to grab the toy that I have and show you guys. This ain't original. I picked this up in a yard sale years ago, but I still have this. So let me find this guy. Where are you?
Yeah, I don't remember that on TV. I remember a Brave Star, but not a Black Star.
Well, perhaps you had to be black to like the Black Star. I don't know. But anyway, I do remember Brave Star too, man. Both of them had toys. And it's going to bug you out because this thing still works till this day. But this is one of the toys from Black Star right here. I'll put this up to the screen, guys.
Damn,
Black Star.
His face is blick.
Yep. Well, and he has a mechanism on the back that does this.
Oh shit!
So
Damn.
it's basically like a lighter, like, you know, a flint like type of thing, like almost like a lighter, and it makes the makes the chest light up. The interesting thing about this is this series and this toy predates He-Man. And they spoke about, like, you know, he was kind of like more of a Latino looking character. You know, your classic sword and sorcery and dragons and stuff, and he had a sword. You know, this is all before He-Man. Only ran for 1 season. I read something, I don't know if it's like, you know, just urban legend type of stuff, but they wanted to make him darker than what he was, you know, but they just kind of like made him more, maybe more Latino looking or more like Native American looking with the dark hair and the kind of like, you know, tan skin. But he was supposed to be actually, I think, black, you know, so that's Black Star coming in at number 13.
All right. So my next one is probably, you know, considered one of the classic cartoons. I mean, it never ages, man. You watch it now and it still holds up. And that is Tom and Jerry from, getting ahead of ourselves. Tom and Jerry, number 12, ran from 1940 to 1967. That's not even including all the reboots, the Tom and Jerry Kids. This is just the original series, 161 episodes. So it was pretty much just, you know, cat chases a mouse, and usually mouse and you know, his antics. And man, it was pretty violent back then, man. They didn't care, man. Hot iron, you know, fire, nails, and then I believe it was Spike, the bulldog, and Tyke would always like get to him. Ally. Most of the time he was ally of Jerry's. But yeah, till this day, you know, if I catch it on, you know, I might watch an episode or two. But you know, even without voices, it held up. I mean, just the whole the score of it too, the music, the sound effects. Oh, SKINSLIP, yeah. What's up, Brandon?
Oh,
Thanks for watching. Old school classic film guy, Blade Runner was in here. But yeah, there you go. So you got some coming up, more your type, Brandon. We're only on number 12. So go ahead, John, with your number 12.
I'll add to the Tom and Jerry thing. I mean, that's like one of the old school ones. There's a couple of ones like from way back, you know, like the Warner Brothers stuff and all that, you know, Looney Tunes that I can still watch to this day. And there's certain shit that always make you laugh, especially with Tom and Jerry, all the, you know, the hijinks and everything. And did have a little bit of kind of racy type of undertones to a racist type, maybe with the black maid or whatever. Remember with I think yeah, Mammy, I think that was her name. You never really saw her face, but you always saw, like, you know, certain from her like boobs down or whatever.
She got the big booty. She had that. Yeah. She had that strap.
Or you see like the backside of her or what, and just like, or she'd be afraid of Jerry and jump up on the chair and try to beat him with a broom or what, yelling for Thomas, get over here right now, Thomas. You know, like make Tom, you know, go get Jerry because she was definitely afraid of the fucking mouse or whatever. So
yeah, and you got to think. I mean, back in the early 40s when it started, that was common, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But great, we are getting
we're getting close to the top 10 now, man.
So, yeah, just being myself. Welcome back. Yes, we are back. So we're on number 12. So This will be uploaded shortly after, so if you missed it, you can catch the rest of ours. But so far, we only had what, one match? I think G.I. Joe was our only match so far.
Yeah, I think so. Unless there was something that you forgot about, but that's kind of cool actually. So
yeah, I bet you here it comes.
here it comes right here. This is gotta be on Hoarder's list. If this is, I'm gonna be surprised if this one right here for me for number 12 isn't on just about every kid from the 70s and 80s list. If you like anime, if you like motherfucking big robots, you're gonna love Voltron. You know, Voltron, Lion Force Voltron, not the fucking cars. I didn't dig the cars. Yeah. The lions were the shit for me. You know, form the head, form the arms, form the legs, that was the shit, man. Voltron, based off, you know, came out in what over here, 84 to 85, but I think it was something that came out over in Japan as like some kind of animation over there beforehand. It
was called Beast Lion. Go Beast Lion.
Yes. Yep. Oh, and I'm reading the chat real quick, and SKINSLIP says Voltron getting a reboot on Netflix soon.
Yeah. It was actually called Beast King Lion. Beast King Go Lion. Sorry. But this is actually I'm gonna bump everything up, but that was my number 2, dude. But I'm gonna put that, you know, I'm just gonna talk more about that and then push everything down.
Yep.
But yeah, it ran only 2. I can't believe it. Only two seasons, 72 episodes, 84 to 85. You have anything else to add to that?
No, just that, like, you know, it was like one of those ones where, you know, you really like, you saw the fucking cartoon and you really wanted the toys too. You really like, you know, had that whole, you know, that whole robot thing. You wanted to combine them, like, you know, because like a big transformer, but it was Voltron, and combine the whole things, the whole lion thing, and like open the mouth, and you know, you got the people that were inside of it and everything. That was probably, you know, another one of my favorites growing up as a kid, Voltron, the Lion Force one. So
yeah, my freaking cousin had all the toys. I was so jealous. Like, I didn't get any toys when I was a kid, but, you know, just playing with them. You know, those that haven't watched it in a long time, I know SKINSLIP probably knows the characters, but there was they're the Lion Force, and then it was called the Black Lion, which was the commander, was Keith Cogain. Then you had Lance McLean, which was the Red Lion. You had Pidge, Daryl Stalker, the Green Lion, Punk, the Yellow Lion, and then you had Sven, the Blue Lion. That was later, I guess, the Princess was later the Blue Lion. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, this was like way before Power Rangers, but it kind of with the colors and that type of stuff. What it really reminded me of was Constructicons. You would just go into one big, you know, big robot, but he had a sword. So let me play a little bit of the intro. Yeah. So I bet you, like, we start naming off a lot of popular ones. But this was my number 2, guys. I'm just bumping it up now, so everything is a little bit skewed, but they're all good, for at least for me. But those that haven't, yes, they're doing a reboot in June on, you know, I'm open to it, but I would always go towards the original. But yeah, Japanese, it was a Japanese. And then, you know, they did have the vehicles, right? That turned into, I think it was called the Armored Fleet Dairuger.
Yep. Yeah, SKINSLIP confirmed that in the chat too. The he seems to have liked that. So
from uncharted regions of the universe,
and the same voice of the intro was obviously Optimus Prime.
The legend of Voltron, defender of the universe, a mighty robot, loved by good, feared by evil. As Voltron's left con was needed,
Ready to form Voltron!
guess there's not really music. It's just like more of an intro.
Yeah.
But all right, so what? I'm all jacked now. What number was that for you?
That was number 12 for me, man.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna steal one of yours. I know this is on your list.
Oh shit.
I know this is on your list. Or I would put money on it. Don't be changing it either. Don't be saying
All right.
brain fart.
And the masters of the universe. Automatic, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle.
Come on. You have that on your list?
Man, you know I have that on my list, man.
Is it high up there or close? Close.
Yeah, yo, I have to do the same thing that you did, man, and bump it up.
All right. What number was it?
That's my number 3, brother. So
Okay. See? So I got
I'm gonna let you take the floor. I'm gonna let you take the floor and you talk about it, and then we'll get back to that. So
all right. So basically, dude, I was into the figures. Again, I didn't have any. I think I had maybe Skeletor, but I broke that early. But basically, you know, you had all these figures, and shit, they were, you know, pretty large size. So they were cool. You know, they were built. They had, you know, muscles and all that. So, you know, my friend had all of them again, man. He collected all of them. I don't know. He lived in kind of a rundown house, but I don't know how he got all these freaking He-Mans. It ran from 1983 to 1985. 2 seasons only. You believe that? 130 episodes, but they did reboot it. And it was put out by Mattel. So those that are familiar with He-Man, did the toys come out before the actual cartoon? I'm not sure about that because it was put out by Mattel, the cartoon. So basically, the whole premise, Planet Eternia. You had Prince Adam, which, you know, he does his whole spiel by the power of Grayskull. I have the power. Prince Adam would turn into that. Then he had Cringer, who was like a fraidy cat, but he would change into the Battle Cat.
Yep.
I did have the Battle Cat. I did have He-Man and the Battle Cat, I think. Because I remember the little mask that you put on it and then take it off. So some of the good guy characters were, my favorite was Manny Faces. He would change like faces. And then you had Man at Arms. You had Keith, which was his daughter. Man at Arms was like, you know, good with gadgets and machinery.
yeah, he was basically the mechanic of the, you know, the creator, the mechanic type of the whole crew and stuff. Man at Arms.
And then you had his daughter Tila, and then you had Stratos, who was like the pilot type guy. Then you had Ram Man, Orko, the little what do you call that? Mystical wizard.
Oh.
Deal. Then you had the dude with the long neck, Mechaneck. And you had some of these are, I don't know if they're bad guys or good guys, but you had Moss Man, Fisto. The main bad guy, of course, was Skeletor. Then you had Panthro. Or no, Panther, his
man.
Yeah, his cat, the black cat.
Yep, Panther. Yep.
Thor. Then you had Beastman, Merman, Evelyn, Triclops, and Trapjaw.
Yep.
Anyone else I'm missing, guys?
But it was quite a bit more, man. But you know,
I do have this that I mistakenly thought it was the original, but it's not. I got this for like $10, and it's the complete set. But this is the reboot in like, I think it was like 1990. But this only has, I think, like 20-30 episodes. But I haven't checked this out. But I want the original because it comes with like a little Castle Grayskull, I think. But that's He-Man. Sorry to steal your thunder. If you want anything, you can add.
Not at all, man.
Okay.
just like I said, that's my number 3. So Hoarder, you know,
That
he's
was
got
my
the
11, or I
Yep.
don't even know what number we're on. Shoot.
well 11 for me. My next one will be number 11.
Okay.
To add to He-Man, I mean, this could be a whole show in itself, but
Oh, the movie. There was a movie.
yeah, which sucked. You know, the movie with fucking Dolph Lundgren sucked ass. And I mean, there's probably some fans of it out there, but like us as fans of the, you know, the cartoon and the toys, were like, this isn't fucking He-Man. This is like,
was He-Man canon? I think it was. SKINSLIP was He-Man canon? Because I think they ran out of money for it, and it just became crappy. But I know it lost a lot of money. It lost a lot of money.
That's one. Okay, that's one that, see, if you guys know me, you know I hate fucking remakes and repukes and reboots. But that is one that I honestly want to say needs a fucking reboot, whatever you're gonna call it, with somebody, you know, Dolph Lundgren, he can't do it anymore. But if they would have had a better script and wrote it better back then, I think it could have worked. But it just sucked ass. I mean, the most thing. What?
Chris Hemsworth, Thor, could probably do it.
I mean, I think that's reaching a little bit. Not, you know, I mean, I could see that, but like, maybe, I don't know what he's contracted to do, like far as Marvel, and that's kind of jumping into a whole nother, you know, kind of like world type of, oh well, now Thor's He-Man. Like, that wasn't obvious, you know. But who knows? They might do that, man. You never know. So, just a little bit more about He-Man. You know, I have, sorry, Hoarder, you know, I have the actual original right here. So this is from the first season, and this is the volume 1, 20 episodes. So
that's all you have.
That's all I have right now. I need to get more. I will at some point. As a kid, I had a couple of the toys. I didn't have a vast majority. But they also redid the whole toy line back in the early 2000s, and I was like seriously collecting that whole toy line back then. I had to get rid of them for, you know, I had to sell them off, but, you know, fell on hard times. But I did manage to keep some, so I do have some of the toy line that was redone. I actually have some of the toy line from the original too. I was trying to grab it, but trying to move along the show as well. So He-Man is
that He-Man behind you on your shelving next to Freddy Krueger. There's like a sticker next to it.
Oh no, that's Star Wars. It's C-3PO and R2-D2.
Oh, okay, that's C-3PO. All right.
I mean, I can grab one from the new line. I don't know where I put my old line He-Mans though, but I can grab one as an example from the new line. Oh no, hold up. I'm talking shit. Actually, guys, I have in my hands the old school He-Man from the original toy line and one of the new school He-Man. So here we go. Here is from the 1980s, the old school He-Man.
I had that. Yeah, that vest thing comes off, right? That little armor plate thing.
Yeah, in the back, it's got little, you know, it's got little things you can pull off.
I chewed it.
Yep. And he's still in good condition. You know, you got the classic rubber head, you know.
Yeah.
Squeeze the hell out of it. The rubber head. Yep.
You could find those like at flea markets, right? Do they for pretty cheap or no? Do people?
Yeah, man. You know, depending on like you know, condition. So, but yeah, you can find those flea markets, yard sales and shit. Now this is from the line that came out in the early 2000s. There's a lot more articulation of it. Look how more detailed that is, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Walk the catwalk, He-Man. Twirl around there. Come on, guy. He's doing his catwalk walk and shit. No rubber head. It's hard plastic. But yeah, that's the newer He-Man, man. So
All right.
So enough about He-Man. let's get into John Steele's number 11. I'm not sure if Hoarder has this on his list. I don't think so. And that is a 1982 Marvel superhero, The Incredible Hulk. Only lasted one season. There were other cartoons of it later. I think in the 90s, he spawned like another series of cartoons for The Incredible Hulk. You can see him nowadays on like Superhero Squad and these other cartoons they have on now. But for me, you know, I fell in love with the show, the Lou Ferrigno show, and I also fell in love with the 82 cartoon that was also in like conjunction with like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, because I think they had a block of those at one time that played on whatever channel it did back then. So that's The Incredible Hulk, my number 11.
Did they ever reboot it at all?
Did they ever what?
Reboot it, like come out with a fresher version?
Yeah, I think that was the one in the 90s that they did, and I think there might have been one out. See, SKINSLIP is saying 90s Hulk was the best adapted version of the Hulk in his opinion.
Okay.
And I agree, man. So, yeah.
All right. Okay, so all right. You know, having this above He-Man and G.I. Joe, well, like again, I had sisters. There's just something about this that this was the OG SpongeBob right here.
Swim along with the snorks. So much to see waiting for you and me. Have some fun with the snorks. Play along with the snorks.
Okay, so the Snorks. Who remembers the Snorks? Came out in 84, pretty successful, 4 seasons, 84 through 89. It had 65 episodes. You know, like I said, a lot of they live underwater. You know, pretty much. I want to say SpongeBob like took a little bit from it, but they were like these little colorful, whatever snorks, little beings underneath that lived in Snorkland. Some of the main characters were All-Star, the yellow snork. Then you had Dimmy, Casey. You had Daphne. Daphne was the girl, again, played by Nancy Cartwright, which was Bart Simpson. Then you had Aki, which was the squid, the octopus type pet. And then the villain was Dr. Strange Snork.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the Snorks?
Yes, I am. That was another one, like, for me, that was, like, a lot like the Smurfs, a lot like, you know, had that whole, like, smaller type of animal type of feel to it, the gummy bears, and another one I'm going to mention later on as an alternate, which I guarantee nobody, with the exception of Skin, remembers there. Yeah, I do remember Snorks. I did watch a few episodes. Now, I'm not sure, did it ever spawn any toys? I'm sure it probably did, right?
You know, I don't remember. Like I said, I'm pretty sure any cartoon, you know, they try to make toys, but that was something at the time, you know, I wouldn't have noticed this at the time, you know, 85, 87, that's pretty much G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So that was your number 10, right?
It was my number 10, but it's technically my number 9 because I skipped one that you had in there. And it would be your number 9 right now.
Okay, so I'm on number 10 right now.
Okay.
Yep. So coming in at the top 10 right at the tip right here. Here we go.
Just right now.
So this did not have toys, to the best of my knowledge, back in the day. Why this did not have toys and why this didn't go longer is beyond me. Like I love the whole theme of it and everything. It's a cartoon from 1980 to 82. I have the complete series. It only ran for like 21 exciting episodes,
I know
and
what
that is Hanna-Barbera's
Yep.
Thundar the Barbarian
Do it.
with his fabulous sun sword with Ukla the Mott and Princess Ariel. Yep, who had like magic powers and shit. But Thundar the Barbarian, that was like awesome to me, man. I used to love Thundar. Again, another one that 80 to 82, and you gotta think He-Man came out 83 to 85. So Thundar actually predates He-Man, the whole sword and sorcery and sword, you know, type of thing, being a source of power. And you know, it's just like, it was cool, man. You had Ukla Mott, which was some, I don't even know what the fuck this thing was. It was just some big gargantuan type of thing, and his horse looked like Diesel too. You know what I mean? So a lot of exciting stuff, man, on that series right there, man.
So I'm sure, you know, a lot of that cartoon, that, you know, a lot of what Conan, you know, probably was adapted from that. Because Conan came out in '82, Conan the Barbarian, and if that went from 80 to 82, I'm sure, you know, you took a little bit from that.
I think so, but also you gotta remember Conan was a comic book.
Oh, I get schooled. Okay.
Yeah, man. Conan was a comic book before the actual Conan movie came out, and he looked nothing like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had like dark hair. He looked more like the version Jason Momoa played. However, we know that pales in comparison to what Arnie did, because for some, that was some people's first introduction to Conan. However, us comic book geeks and nerds, we know that Conan the comic book predates the movie. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. I've seen a few episodes back in the day, but yeah, that's not one like that. That's a little bit before me. Okay. Popular one. You might have this, you might not, but it's catchy. 1987 to 90.
Like a hurricane, duck bird. This aeroplane.
Do you have it?
It's
All right.
might solve a mystery or rewrite history.
DuckTales. Ooh.
All right. So basically, Disney adapted it off of comics, such as the comic Uncle Scrooge. But basically, you had characters, great uncle Scrooge McDuck and his grandnephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie, which were the sons of Donald Duck, who went out to join the Navy and was left with their grand uncle. Then all other characters you had, I mean, they would go on a lot of adventures, you know, searching for treasures. But I guess the villains were really after the #1 dime of Scrooge McDuck. Some characters were Launchpad McQuack, the Butler Duckworth. Some of the villains were the Beagle Boys, Magica Dispel, and Flint Heart Glomgold. So
That was the Scottish one, right?
yeah, DuckTales.
Yep.
Woohoo! Disney. But yeah, again, 100 episodes, 4 seasons. So that's something that it holds up, man. It holds up to me.
Definitely one that, you know, I watched, you know, on and off. You know, where else are you gonna see a fucking duck swim in a fucking room full of, like, you know, coins and dive into it and dive out of it and stuff, man. So, and yeah, you know, classic Disney characters, man. Once again, so there it is with Disney, you know, coming through with, you know, something that they created, man, which is awesome. They had a lot of success, man.
You have any Disney in yours that you know of?
Offhand, I'm actually looking right now.
Because SKINSLIP mentioned the only thing overshadowed DuckTales was Darkwing Duck. Do you have Darkwing Duck in yours?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. So okay, cool. That's
But
enough.
Darkwing Duck was cool, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you're number 9.
Oh, my number 9, man. And if you guys aren't a fan of this cartoon, then I don't know what to tell you. But I mean, this actually was basically, you know, they got flack for this too, because when they made the cartoon, there was a show on TV, old black and white show, you know, Ralph Straight to the Moon. So the Flintstones, man, from
Whoa.
1960 to 66, the original run. It had a lot of Spawn, you know, Pebbles and Bam Bam, Barney, Fred and Barney Meet the Shmoo. They were like cops, and there were a lot of spawns from the Flintstones, which a lot of people argued that it had to do with the honeymooners. You know, you had the fat, you know, husband and the wife, and then you had Ralph Cramden, you had his buddy and his wife, and all that. So it kind of like that took. They say the Flintstones kind of took from that show, the honeymooners, you know, and I think they actually caught flack for it back in the day because, you know, it was so close to that in ways, you know.
Yeah, there was several like spin-offs, right? They had like the little kids version, Flintstones. They had a couple movies, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely had toys back in the day too. Like early on, they had toys, you know, kind of like plasticky, squishy, plasticky type things and stuff in the car and all this figurines and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you know the main characters, right? You had Fred, Wilma, Arnie, Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Who were the kids?
Pebbles and Bam Bam. You had Dino and Hoppy with it pets, you know. Classic caveman, you know. Very adult themed, you know, for, you know, a lot of the humor went over kids' heads, you know what I mean? Because they would have like people like Rock Hudson on there as far as like guests, and the chick from Bewitched and Anne Margaret. I remember all these, you know, and they would animate them, but they would be on the show with their own voices.
How long did it run?
The original like 60 to 66, but then it had so many like different offshoots. You know, so.
All right, I mean, there's many classics that I couldn't put on, but that was on one of my honorable mentions.
Nice.
Meet the Flintstones.
Meet the Flintstones.
Okay, number 8. Woo! All right, here we go. Okay, that's on your list, right?
Dude, you said that's your number 8?
Yes, that's your number 8?
That's my fucking number 8 too. Oh my god. Get out of my head, Hoarder. What the fuck, yo?
All right, so basically what you have here is one of the most famous cartoons. I mean, of recent age. It ran 10 seasons, plus they're, you know, doing all these reboots and stuff with the movies. But 1987 through 1996. So, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan originally. My cousin got me into it. My little cousin, he started having all these action figures, and I really wasn't familiar with the cartoon at the time before he got the toys. And then the motherfucking arcade game of Ninja Turtles. Then I got really into the cartoon because that arcade, man, I spent a lot of coin trying to beat that at the arcade. But come on, who doesn't know? You know the take on it. You got all the artists, the people who painted. Michelangelo, Raphael, Leonardo, and Donatello. So you also have. Do you know Master Splinter's real name? His human name? That's a quiz for you.
Ooh, that's a good one, man. I should know this too, because what Hoarder failed to mention is, what is all this based off? It's based off, once again, a comic book, black and white comic book done by Eastman and Laird. So that predates the show. But yeah, I cannot remember his name, man. I don't know. What is it?
Hamato Yoshi.
Hamato Yoshi.
Yeah, so again, I was never into comics, couldn't really afford that, and so yeah, unfamiliar, but that's cool. But come on, some of the allies, April O'Neil. I have all the fun stuff, by the way. April O'Neil, yeah, Casey Jones, the dude with the hockey mask, reminded me of Jason. You had the Samurai Rabbit, Usagi Yojimbo, and some of the villains, of course, Master Shredder, his human name, Urakusaki. Then you had Krang, that little brain type deal, Rocksteady Bebop. They're gonna be in the new movie. You had Baxter Stockman, which was I think like a professor, scientist. Then you had Leatherhead, which was the alligator, and Metalhead, which was a robot version of a Ninja Turtle, but was a bad guy. So, but yeah, growing up with it, man, everything was Ninja Turtles back in the day. Toys, cartoons, video games, shirts. I have a shirt. I should have worn that, but basically, grew up watching it. Still pretty popular. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, man, dude, that was, like I said, we both had it at number 8. Like, how cool is that? You know what I'm saying? Number 8, fucking Ninja Turtles, man. Yeah, I was, I tend to have a few years on a lot of these guys that I'm in the streams with. I'm 42. I know a lot of these guys are in their like early to mid 30s, so I have like 8 to 10 years on a lot of these cats, man. So you gotta think I was a bit older watching these things when they were a bit younger. So with that being said, man, even that, like, I still loved it. Being a little bit older, but still loved it and everything. I actually have the original NES game right here.
Oh shit!
Yeah, man. So, and I have my original NES. Another thing about the Turtles is, when I was a senior in high school, I was in this art class, and they wanted me to do a mural for one of the local parks. And I actually did this big mural of the Ninja Turtles in Christmas outfits. If I can find that picture, I'll put it up on IG. But that's back in the day, man. And I did I think instead of weapons, they had candy canes in their hand. One had like a Santa Claus bag. Another one had like a broom where he had like a top hat, like a Frosty the Snowman. So I did that back then, and it was up in the park for quite some time until some asshole came along and graffitied over and shit. They tagged it. So
yeah, I agree. The NES game was pretty hard unless you had another person playing with you. Casey Jones was SKINSLIP's favorite. He corrected you that Stan Sakai wrote and drew it.
Oh no, he's talking about Usagi Yojimbo, the rabbit.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I remember. I know what he's talking about. I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, he had his own series before he became part of the Turtles and stuff. So, and then I guess they crossed universes or what. So, Ninja Turtles, man. Me and Hoarder both have a number 8. That's awesome.
Number 7, you brought it up before, but I'm gonna add more to it. I'm gonna enlighten you for once. You brought up Tiger Shark. It was part of a cartoon.
COMIC STIPULATION. Come on, take the trip.
1987, the comic strip had 4 cartoons, and they would show a couple of them each Saturday morning. And the 4 were Karate Cat,
baby. Mini monsters.
Mini Monsters,
Kids Monsters got Minimons the answer. And who can do hip hop better than a frog can? Get down with the street frog.
and
Hold on for exciting action and underwater adventure with the Tiger Sharks. All coming up on the
SKINSLIP. Come on, take the trip.
So, are you familiar with the comic strip?
Yes, I am, man.
Okay, so
Yep.
yeah, I was always rooting for either them to show. All of them were good, but you know, Tiger Sharks and the Street Frogs were my favorites out of that. So the Mini Monsters were cool because it had the old school Universal monsters and kind of infant form, baby form. Reminded me a little bit of what's that fucking Monster Squad. So, but yeah, that was probably one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons. It only ran for 1 season, 65 episodes, but they would have 2 segments. Each half an hour, they would show a 15-minute of 2 of them. But typically, the segments were about 10, 15 minutes long. And man, just that COMIC, that was catchy. So every time that was, we were jamming like my sister.
Yeah, had a little jazzy beat to it too, man. You know.
Yeah.
So,
But the Street Frogs, man, that was legit because it introduced like the rap, the breakdance, the hip hop back in the day. So, anyone remember that? Yeah. So SKINSLIP doesn't. You had to search Tiger Sharks, dude. There's cartoons on YouTube about it. It was, they were awesome, man. They literally, like, they had, like, you know, a tiger shark, they had a hammerhead, they had a manta ray, they had, you know, all kinds of sharks, great whites, but it was, you know, it was legit. I don't know why that didn't take off longer than it did.
Well, they were like human, but when they went into that fish tank, then they turned into the animal, you know, hybrid type. But remember, I think that's how it was, man. Like there was this fish tank. I think again there was like some type of doctor or scientist guy that made the fish tank, and they went into the fish tank, and then, you know, to fight crime and, you know, fight enemies and stuff like that. But it was a pretty awesome show, man, back then.
Yeah, I don't know the reference. Or is it because my hat that I'm the King Kong person who did the documentary? I guess. Just being myself. Call you Justin. All right, so go ahead.
All right, so
Number
we're at 7, and I do have this somewhere. I have it. It's in a steelbook case. I was looking for it. There's more than one. There's more than a few seasons. I only have one of the seasons, and that is, it ran from 86 to 91. That would be the original series, and that is The Real Ghostbusters.
nice.
Yep. You know, based off, there's a long story behind this whole Ghostbusters, Real Ghostbusters thing. But if you guys are interested, look it up. Look up Filmation's Ghostbusters. Look up The Real Ghostbusters, and look up Ghostbusters, the live action show, which predates both the animated and the movie. So all this is actually based off an animated show from 1975 or 78, somewhere around there. So look all that up. It's a lot of detail to get into, but for me, Number 7 is The Real Ghostbusters. And I can say one of my favorite episodes, I believe might be from season 3. And I don't know the name of the episode, so forgive me. But it's the one where they go to the town and there's vampires and werewolves in the same town. And these vampires and werewolves are going at each other, and they bite each other, and they're turning each other into, at the end of it, they're turning each other into vampires and werewolves back and forth. Pretty cool fucking episode.
Wow. Nice. I don't remember. I remember the cartoon and all, but I might have caught a few episodes here and there. Late 80s?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, good. You didn't. I guess I'm spoiling this one for you.
Probably.
Ran from 1980. It says 85 here. 85 through 87. Not
Right.
what came first, the toys or the actual cartoon. But here we go. Your boy, Frosty Knives. That would be his number 1.
Definitely.
But Transformers, is that on your list, bro?
Brother, what number was that for you?
That was number 6.
Dude, it's like we were fucking in the same, I don't even know. Transformers is my number 6 as well.
See, I'm telling you guys, we did not. This is all a surprise to us. But it's cool that it's number 6 because we can talk about it. But you know how iconic of Transformers. You know, whoever thought of that idea, you know, made a lot of money. It's still going on today with all the movies and the reboots, whether it's Beast Wars or I don't even know what's going on these days with the cartoons. But I can tell you this, back in the day, man, whoo, those toys. I think my first Transformer was Soundwave with the little cassette tape that turned into fucking the little what was it? Not the panther. It was like a little cat type deal. And then you had another one that turned into like a laser beak. That's what it was called. Laser beak. But man, having that little boombox was cool back in the day. It looked like a Walkman when Walkmans were popular. I did have Optimus Prime, of course, where it had that little rolling thing that came out the back that shot missiles. It was pretty cool. But yeah, again, the friend Mark is his name. He would have all of them. They broke pretty easily, but shoot, some of these suckers were complicated. I tell you what, a lot of like the Decepticons were pretty complicated. But when you started getting Dinobots and Insecticons, that's kind of where I stopped following it and stuff. It just got, you know, too many characters and too many, you know, spin-offs. But I remain true to the original, where it was Megatron. And then what's the other guy? There's a Megatron, and then there's another bad guy that was Destructicon.
Starscream?
No, not. It starts with the
no.
D. D.
Starts with a D?
He's nuts. No, help me out. This
Got him.
got him. Galvatron. Yeah. SKINSLIP.
Oh, you said G. I thought you said D, Mo.
No, I did. You know how you get that mixed up, but thank you, SKINSLIP. Hey, if you're down afterwards when we're done with our list, we'll get you in for the last bit of it if you wanna stuff we missed.
Yeah, it'd be cool to like, invite Slim. Slim.
Man, I wish you know, if we would definitely, you would have been a good one to have a list because I know you're much into cartoons even as we speak. I watched where you guys watched Go Lion and Battleship Yamato. So yeah, no, definitely. We would have loved to at least. I mean, it's going on pretty long for two of us, but usually, you know, three to 4 to 5 is probably the max that we want on these lists.
Yeah.
But definitely. Yeah. So yeah, we'll we got how many more? We got 5 more. So probably another half hour.
Yeah,
Or-
top 20 skins. Top 20 is usually what we do. We always have alternates. So.
Yeah. So I got number 5, bro. So number 5, I think you told me you haven't watched it. So I'm just like, wow, this is one of my favorites. This was like before. Pretty early, but it was dope, man. These guys were legit. Here we go. It ran from what year? This cartoon ran one season, 1986. It had 65 episodes. And that is none other than
Oh,
Bam!
oh man.
Bam! Hey, what's up, Movies for Miles? Blu-ray fanatic Caleb. But yeah, awesome, dude. The dude with the cowboy, but
Yeah, yep.
you know, partial. What is it? Partial real, partial steel. Damn, that was my joint. Yes, SKINSLIP knows what's up. Silverhawks. So, Silverhawks was it was adapted from a comic book series, but basically you had this Commander Stargazer recruited the Silverhawks to fight the evil Monstar, which was an escaped alien mob boss who transforms into enormous armored-plated creatures. You had some of the enemies were Yes Man, which was a snake, and then you had Buzzsaw, Mumbo Jumbo, which was the bull. You had Windhammer and Melodia that would, like, I think she had a guitar or something or harp that, you know, played music and musical notes like blasting you. So I think the heroes was Quicksilver, Jonathan Quick was the name, Tallyhawk, which was his bird companion. You had twins, which were Streetheart and Street Will. Then you had the cowboy, I think his name was Mirage. And then you had the little math genius, which was the Copper Kid.
Yep, the Copper Kid, man.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. We're still going pretty strong. Got 8 viewing. Those I know, Silverhawks guys, check it out. There's episodes on YouTube. But that's one of my favorites, man. They would you know, put on their mask and they had wings. They could fly in space. It was dope.
Yep.
Anything, John? Is that something that you?
I did watch it. I watched it. Yeah, I watched it. It reminded me, you know, it was just like, you know, that whole time frame, you know, with the different shows that are on, that they were kind of similar and stuff. I'll name another one later, like, which kind of, I don't know, had that same vibe or that same type of animation to me. But
Yep.
yeah, but Silverhawks, yeah, you can't go wrong with that, man. That was one I enjoyed. That might have been. I don't remember if it was on Saturday morning or more towards the afternoon.
Oh no, it was Saturday morning.
Yeah, but I definitely watched some episodes of that. So yeah, that's a good one too, man. Silverhawks.
All right, top 5 guys.
Wow, here we are. Damn, we're down to the wire now, man. Top 5.
I want to say we probably going forward. You'd only have 1, maybe 2 from my list. Anyway. But I know probably our number 1s are the same. But go on.
I don't know. I beg to differ.
Okay.
You're gonna be surprised at what my number 2 and number 1 is. But coming in at number 5, Hoarder probably does not have this on his list because I could just tell by the reaction when I said something earlier, which was related to this. But number 5, my friends, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends from 1981 to 1983. If you remember, it had Spider-Man, Firestar, and Iceman. They were like the
star in the orange or the yellow, orange hair.
The chick, yep. And then there was Iceman, which, you know, I don't think outside of like this show that you've ever seen really Iceman with Spider-Man, you know, other than that. I mean, Spider-Man was part of the X-Men at one time, but the X-Men have had so many members within the comic series. It's just hard to keep track of like who's been in, who's been out, who's, you know, type of thing. But for me, Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. I do have the series, the original series. I don't have it here with me, but I have it on my shelf, and it's actually from a comic book store. So it's like more like bootleg. It's not the actual series. But I believe you can buy that on Amazon somewhere. I think it goes for a good price too. So that's my number 5, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Nice. SKINSLIP said he already jotted his list down. So cool. Well,
yeah, he's good.
Yeah, basically, I wasn't into the whole comic scene. I still like am not like a huge fan like some of you guys are. Just never too many, I guess. Just never got into it. So don't hate it. Don't, you know, I'm kind of unbiased. There's some characters that I like more than others, but it's just the whole. I was never in the comic book, so the whole. I didn't even know the difference between DC and Marvel. I was like, how come they don't do, you know, a Batman versus Spider-Man, you know, back in the day? How come they're never together? You know, I never understood that, different universes. But that's classic pick. So you're right. If you got any more of those types, I won't have it. But here we go. Number 4. I don't think you have this because this came out in 1983. It ran through 86. You'll still see it on like Cartoon Network and all that stuff. Nickelodeon. 2 seasons, 86 episodes. Very catchy tune, and they did make a live action movie.
Oh shit.
Man, I hope we don't get this flag, man. Hell yeah. Oh man, the best part. Okay. Alright. But yeah, man, this is where I think this was on Nickelodeon because I always had to go to a friend's to watch it, and we would like pretty much binge watch it. So Inspector Gadget to me is like it was just, you know, like what's the next thing that he could, you know, invent. So basically, go Gadget go. But he was clumsy, right? Wasn't it? It was always the niece Penny and the dog Brain that saved the day, and they would never get credit. He would always get credit at the end. Then you had Chief Quimby, and then of course Dr. Claw from the Mad Organization. What was his cat's name?
I don't remember. I remember the cat was like a fat cat though. And stuff.
Like pussy. I call it Pussy.
What's
that? So Inspector Gadget, Matthew Broderick played him. I don't remember that movie too much. I think I watched it on HBO or something.
Terrible movie, man.
Yeah. So Inspector Gadget. That's my number 4.
Wow. I am extremely surprised. I don't have that anywhere on my list. Did I watch it? Yeah, I did. Wasn't another one I didn't run home like, oh, I want to watch Inspector Gadget. I gotta see it. You know, like because
Yeah.
you gotta remember too, people back in the day, if there was something you wanted to watch, you had to motherfucking go home and watch it because there was no such thing as like recording it on your DVR or what. If you were recording it, you were lucky enough to be one of those kids who probably had fucking money, had a VCR, and had somebody recording it for you when you got home. But most of us weren't that fortunate. So but Inspector Gadget, man, yeah, it's a good one. Good one. My number 4. Wow, goes back to fucking the year of my birth. So I wasn't watching it then. I was watching it probably within the 3 to 4 years after that. But that's 1973 Super Friends.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I
Super
like.
Friends.
Did that have the Wonder Twins?
Did the original have the Wonder Twins?
Wonder Twins activate.
Form of water, shape of an elephant. And then the fucking the spew the boy Zan and Jaina. So Zan would form like ice or water or something like that, and then Jaina would be an elephant or some other type of animal. If she was an elephant, she probably shot out water out from her nose or whatever. But I want to say the original did not have them in it. It wasn't until a little bit later, and I get confused on the part where there was also there was a boy, a girl, and a dog. Either in between or after Zan and Jaina, and that was either later or during that time. But Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Those were probably Batman and Robin. My bad. Those were probably the original. They started adding more later on with Green Lantern, Flash, Black. I think Black Lightning, the black character, he had like lightning and stuff, or it might have been Black Vulcan. I think that was his name, Black Vulcan. Also, the Super Friends, they had spin-offs as well. Challenge of the Super Friends came out in 1978, where they fought the Legion of Doom with Lex Luthor, Solomon Grundy, all this type of stuff, man. But I mean that was my first introduction to like superhero type cartoons and superhero pretty much anything superhero. Then that got my interest in like other DC characters and Marvel around that same time. That's how I discovered superheroes, was through the cartoon Super Friends. So that's my number 4, man.
All right. My number 3, dude, I'm a little bit, I would say, embarrassed, because this is probably the most childlike cartoon that's on my list, or either of our lists. But I was a teenager at the time, but there was something about it that was enjoyable. The shit. Okay, let's go for it. All right. Nickelodeon.
All right.
I always had to go to my aunt's house. I don't think there's any words, but you can kind of guess what that is. They did a movie, the soundtrack, Blackstreet did it, Take You There, and that is none other than the Rugrats. So, yeah, it seems like it's more recent, of course, but it ran for a whopping 9 seasons from 1991 to 2004. It qualifies as retro just because early 90s. But it was just a bunch of babies. And I don't know. It's because my cousins would always watch it, and I just got stuck babysitting and watching it too. But it's just Pickles. You got Chucky. That reminded me actually of the Chucky doll. Um, you had the twins, Phil and Dill. You had the dog, Spike, and then you had the evil sister, a villain, Angelica, and then the dinosaur Reptar. So there's just something about Rugrats that I don't know, man. It did something for me. Baby. Anyone in the chat comments? Is it
Yeah.
okay? He said SkinSlip understands. It was well written. Yes, it's like it's relatable. It's like okay, you don't want to be bothered by your parents. They're punishing you, but when you're in timeout, you still try to make fun of it. You got sent to your room. You still, try to make fun. I mean, I wasn't that imaginative at the time, but there's times where where as a kid, not at the time when I watched it, but as a little kid, you're like fighting off ninjas. You're pretending you're like fighting off a bunch of ninjas. But yeah, pretty much that's my number 3.
Wow. Yeah, I never got into Rugrats. What year did you say that came out?
91. So maybe how about your kids? Your
No. Well, 91, I had just graduated. This is how fucking old I am, okay? 91, I just graduated high school.
Oh, yeah.
I went into the military, and right after training, they shipped my ass over to Germany, and then from Germany, we went to fucking Iraq for a bit, and then came back to Germany. So my whole thing then was just like military. And then when I came back, it was party. So I had no interest in Rugrats, never have. I'm not denying it's a good show. And my kids, they were born much later. My oldest is born in 99, so right at the cusp, right there, if I had something from 99. Yeah. So Rugrats I never got into. I could say I would equate that to Muppet Babies, but Rugrats just being kids, because it had the same premise, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Muppet Baby. I remember Muppet Babies. Rugrats never got into it. So.
Oh shit, Muppet Baby, dude, love that too.
Mm-hmm.
Muppet Babies.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. Number 3, I already said it because fucking Hoarder stole my thunder. So I had to, how to start breaking out toys and shit, and the real deal picture of the real, not the real, but the original series, and that's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, 1983 to 85. That could be a whole show in its own. Enough said about that. So, Hoarder, you're number 2.
Okay. So I replaced this one because this was an honorable mention, and I thought it was just so iconic that, I thought it was a waste of a spot. But I'm going to replace Voltron, which we already said. Voltron's still my number 2, but for this live stream, and I want to show off this box set. So my new number 2, I don't have the intro. Is Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Now I remember this, man, eating a bowl of cereal, fucking eating a bowl of cereal and fucking going, like being late for school because I wanted to finish an episode of Scooby-Doo. And so, I mean, come on, man. That's classic. Good guy mystery machine. You're always like, I was pretty smart. I kind of always guessed the bad guy, but it was always, they try to play it off like you'll never guess what the bad guy is, but you always get that character in the beginning in the small part, whether it's like the security guard or someone that befriends them, and it's like, oh shit. But yeah, what can I say more about Scooby-Doo, man? They had Shaggy, dude that always seemed high, and then he had Scooby-Doo, of course, with the next scared ass dog. Man, Elma. You had Fred, who was the Daphne.
Daphne.
Not redhead. So, Michelle Gellar, Sarah Michelle Gellar. So, yeah, Scooby Doo. You kind of held your hands. Is that on your list?
Man, I think here's what I think. I think you and I have our number 2 and number 1 flip flop.
Okay, so switch it, man. Switch
Yo,
it.
This is what I'm gonna say.
Switch it.
Well, you already said that. That's my number 1, man.
I know, but switch it for like, think about
all
that.
right, so
Because you can't go wrong. I know you're number 1. We know our number 1.
well, no, Scooby Doo is my number 1.
I know, but I know you're number 2.
Oh, you know you gotta know my number 2 if you know my number 1.
Number 2, just based on knowing you. So just
right, so what do you want?
swap it. So your number 2 for the time being is Scooby Doo. Okay.
Okay, my number 2 for the time being is Scooby Doo. Let me talk a little bit more about Scooby Doo.
Okay.
All right. So, Scooby Doo 1969 series through 1970. That's the original run. We all know spawned many, Scooby and Scrappy, Scooby and his cousin. What was it? Scooby and who was the cousin's name? The dumb one. Dum. Man, Scooby and his dumb cousin.
Scrappy.
Fuck. No, that was his nephew.
Oh.
Damn. All right, I can't remember. Anyway, one of the shows that it spawned was the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo,
Nice.
which had Vincent Price as a voice of one of the animated characters.
Okay.
He was one of the main characters in that. How fucking awesome is that? That Vincent Price was on a Scooby-Doo cartoon. But Scooby-Doo, man, I mean, all time. I got favorite episodes probably from like a couple of the series. First series being A Gaggle of Galloping Ghosts. And that one had like a gypsy, a vampire, a Frankenstein monster, and a werewolf in it, and in a castle, and they were chasing them around and stuff. Another favorite episode of mine, A Night of Fright is No Delight. Had the colonel who was like wanted them to stay in I think it was a castle, wanted them to stay overnight in order to get something, and had the haunted castle and the green phantoms with the chains that laughed like maniacal, like and they fucking come around. And then my other favorite episode is Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Werewolf. Had like a werewolf in a mill that they were exploring, and they were like camping out or something like that. So Scooby-Doo, man. I mean,
That's the cousin of Scooby Dum.
Scooby Dum, that's what it was.
Oh shit. So
Dum.
another reason is because they had like special like guests like Partridge Family, Harlem Globetrotters. They had fucking like real life people as part of the cartoons, which was cool.
That was the later series. After the original series, they had Batman and Robin.
Oh shit.
They had Phyllis Diller. They had fucking Cass Elliot. They had they had Don Knotts. Dude, I'm so fond of Scooby-Doo. I remember so many classic episodes. It's just that's it for me, dude. And now what? We flip flop our number 1 and 2 now?
Yeah, so this is actually his number 2. This is my number 1. I'm gonna play the theme song, but we both know there's no mistake here. We have the Funko Pops of them. He has action figures of them. It's just so iconic of the time. It actually ran 4 seasons, 85 through 89, 130 episodes. Do you have the whole series? I'm not gonna name it yet, but do you have the cartoon series on DVD?
I have season 1, volume 1. That's what I have.
Okay. For no further ado, yeah, I knew it in your top. On the loose, the cats are loose. Hear the roar, the cats are loose.
Thundercats. Thundercats.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I could kind of guess it when you were naming them. Like, okay, this had to be his number one. But then I thought, okay, it could be a classic like Scooby-Doo. But yeah, man, I can't explain it enough that these were probably one of my favorite action figures. They were big, bulky. But man, Panthro, come on. That, with the nunchucks and shit, that was the shit. So, just got a little show and tell here. I don't have the original action figures, but you know me and my pops. So, Panthro, that was a good ally with this tough guy. You have the leader, Lion-O, little sidekick, whatever you want to call him. Norm. You had, dude, she was awesome, man. Kitara. Then I know there was a couple more of you guys, but as far as the Funko Pops, I do have the villain, Selfie. Which, if you have the action figures, I guess the headdress always falls off.
Yep.
But they're from the planet Third Earth. And, you know, I don't know too much about the history, but I just remember the actual action figures that, yeah, it was just good times playing with those. Oh, yeah, you had Kit and Kat, right?
Wily Cat. Yep.
Yeah, Wily Kit. Tigra was another one. Jaga
was the main one.
Okay, and then you had you know, some villains: Jackal Man, Vulture Man,
Slide,
and then Red Eye. So,
Monkey.
Yeah, Monkey. But yeah, number one, man, you can't. Like I said, a lot of these are interchangeable, but Thundercats just had that special something to me.
Yep.
Go on, sir.
All right, man. That you know, we flip flopped it. That was my number 2. You know, 85 to 89, animated in Japan, voice acted in the U.S. So that's an interesting little fact about that. I think probably within the first season, favorite episodes for me, Mandora the Evil Chaser. Oh, she's like she's like this cop, like, and she rides this like weird cycle type of space cop or whatever, and it ends up being like the thing that foils the enemy's soap that she has, and she develops it into like a gun or something. Trouble with Time, where I think Tiger gets old and they gotta find a way to go, I think, some kind of cave or something. And then Excalibur, where Lion-O with the Sword of Omens fights Arthur with Excalibur. That was a real cool episode as well, man. So
yeah, you have a toy, don't you? Like a modified Panthro?
I do, and I can grab that real quick.
You want to show them?
Yep. All right, guys. So this is a customized action figure that I made from a Marvel figure, but I made it into Panthro. And actually, there was a magazine that came out, you know, probably in the late 90s, early 2000s. It had all to do with toys. I want to say it was Toy Fair, the magazine. And I actually won. I want to say won, but I submitted my picture of this custom, and I have the, you know, where they mentioned me for making the custom and everything. So without further ado, this is my custom made figure of Panthro, and I made this from a Marvel figure. I actually used a Wolverine to make this Panthro right here. You know, it's like your 6-inch Marvel figure made into a customized Thundercats Panthro.
Dope, man.
Yep.
How long did it take you to do that?
This took me probably about a week and a half, you know. So.
All right. Okay, guys, we're gonna invite a guest who stuck with us. I don't know if he caught all of it, but yeah, Brandon SKINSLIP. He's definitely, this is a topic that he is very dear to the heart to him based on his material that I see on his channel, which is SKINSLIP. So we'll let him go through his list, and then we'll also, dude, I got like 100 honorable mentions. It was pretty hard to come up with what we did, but can you believe like some of the shit we left off, like Looney Tunes and fucking Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, shit like that. But you know, it all depends when you grew up too, right? It all the circumstances. Like you had some of the early 80s, late 70s that, you know, that was before my time, that, you know, I only heard through watching people's YouTube channels. But I think overall, shit, we had what, about 10 the same. So we had all the, of course, the classics, the He-Mans, Transformers, G.I. Joe. Or did you even have Yeah, you had Transformers, Voltron, Thundercats.
Dude, we both had Transformers at number 6, and we both had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at number 8, which was
and G.I. Joe was close too. You had it at, I think, like 16 or something like that.
18.
Yep. So we were close on that. So overall, yeah, man. So far, I mean, shoot, we thought this was gonna be a short episode, but you know, SKINSLIP gonna be on. It'll be about the same because we're going on. Yeah, about 2 hours right now. The other one was about 3 hours. So, all right, Brandon, let's get you in. I'm gonna add you through Google Plus. Hopefully you're in there. Damn it,
If not Google Plus for Brandon, you can send it to Twitter. Probably he's on Twitter as well. So
okay, it's gonna take a little bit. I might send you the link. Add me on Google Plus just in case Twitter doesn't work.
yeah, yo.
Any comments, questions? Were there any surprises? Were there any cartoons that we missed that might have been on your guys' list?
SKINSLIP said G Plus invites don't work for him. Do you have him on Twitter?
I'm pretty sure. SKINSLIP, right? Is it just SKINSLIP?
Let me look it up real quick because I know he's on my Twitter. We comment to each other all the time.
No, I think I don't know. No offense, but there's sometimes like if people clock my feeds, I'll delete them. But let me see.
He said,
no, I'm following you, brother. You got a cat. There you are. Oh well, now I'm following you.
SKINSLIP everywhere except PSN. Awesome. Oh, Skin just start following me on Instagram, so I'm gonna follow him on IG too.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, here you go, brother. Twitter. See if that works for you. Link sent. All right, so those, I know it's like freaking 3 a.m. over on the East Coast, so a lot of you are probably not here. Anyone still watching? I know Crush is probably watching, but
we got 3 watching right now.
Crush, Leroy's probably like, you know, catching it, but the silent assassin.
I should probably mute the stream. There we go.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey guys. All right, I'll try to make this quick. There's a lot of duplicates, right? So
yeah, no
thank
problem.
You, by the way, thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate it.
if I would have thought of, I said, because we were trying to get, like, Aaron Pinn. We were trying to get Griswold.
Yeah, it's good, dude.
But, hey, man, pleasure.
Anytime, dude, I'm that loser who, like, is always free. If ever you need a guest, just, like, let me know, man. I'm always down fucking streams. I work from home, so I work at any place I want, so I'm always home and ready to do shit. So
trust me, I would have invited you, but damn, how many different live streams and episodes and shows you got going on?
Right now, dude, I've actually ditched Zeranizrak's fundraising live stream to come watch your show because I was getting tired of watching him suck at video games.
Oh, dude, that's dedication right there.
He's over on Twitter right now raising funds for his to pay for his rent because he's moving house. Like suddenly an apartment opened up and he has to move like right the fuck now.
That's
so he's like, yeah, no, I don't have the money. Thanks for the last minute warning. So he's doing a 24-hour stream that he's set to stream till like 4 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
it's an honor.
Here's my number 20. It's a show called Mighty Max. A lot of my shows are from the 90s because I was I was a teenager and I fell in love with shows for different reasons than I did when I was a kid. A lot of the shows I fell in love with as a kid were because I had toys or they were from a movie I liked, and you know what I mean? Like that's how that came. So the first one is Mighty Max. Oh god, of course I closed the link. I went to click the tab and I closed the link. Shit. Have you guys seen Mighty Max?
No, but it was on my list of stuff to mention. 1993 to 94.
Yep, it was a show in which every episode was important. Every episode connected to the overarching story of all the episodes were one long story arc.
Okay.
And which, by the way, actually, spoiler alert, is cyclical. It starts over at the beginning. It's kind of cool.
Wow.
But it's a really great show. It was one of the last shows to be made based off a toy line. Where in the 90s there was legislation to change like the law so that you couldn't make cartoons after toy lines to market toys. Instead, you had to make a cartoon had to exist before a toy line could be made. So that's why in the 90s cartoons declined. That's why in the 90s is the last decade we got really good shows. Early 2000s, right? Like that was like the last time we really got great cartoons. Now it's hit and miss with a lot of them. Anyway, so Mighty Max were these little monster heads that opened up and had little play sets and little minifigures, but the show is really cool, and everyone should check the show out.
Okay.
Next is The Wonderful World of David the Gnome.
Oh, wow, dude.
Yeah.
Really? Everyone forgot about that one.
Wow.
That was a great show because it never treated kids like kids. It always treated everyone equally. You could watch that now, and the show is just as good. Great animation in that show.
Yep.
1985. Yep, one season.
And next is Mask.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. What did that acronym stand for? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't commit everything to memory. Shit, give me a second.
Well, I got you, Skin. Mobile Armored Strike Command, brother.
Thank you. Commander K, that's right. I had a lot of the toys, so that's why that one's on my list. It's a good show, but the racing series last season was awful.
Yeah, I think I liked the toys too because they were little kind of. And you
like
could
1-inch figures.
Yeah.
Vehicles that like they're kind of like Transformers, but they transformed from one vehicle to a much cooler vehicle with missiles and guns and shit. Here's probably this is the only Disney show I think that's on my list, though it's pretty much here because I loved all the Disney shows in the 90s. It's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Yes.
Probably their finest cartoon. It came after DuckTales, but it like took the same world building that DuckTales did and went with it, and I think they did it because they were more mature. Because it was a few years after DuckTales started, they were able to make the show even better, you know.
It had a catchy intro too.
Oh yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I do apologize when I did miss the first 45 minutes, I think. But
hey, you can go back.
I will go back and watch. Don't worry.
We'll let you know if you repeated some of our early ones.
Robotech. How about that one? That's number 16.
Oh.
Robotech, Macross, Southern Cross, and Genesis Climber Mospeada. Those were the 3 shows that were combined together to make Robotech, and the show still stands up. I'm actually rewatching it through the Saturday Morning Forever's live streams that their Nines Rec does once in a blue moon.
Did Robotech, was that on like Saturday morning, like ABC?
Okay, that I am cheating a little bit. Some of these are weekday shows, but they also aired later in reruns on the weekend. So
Okay.
I'm gonna call a loophole on that one. Sorry.
That's fine.
It was a weekly show. It was a 5-day-a-week show. To be fair,
Okay.
it was 87 episodes. 87, I want to say. Probably off.
I don't think we restricted it to just Saturday, Hoarder. I think, yeah.
And you wanted it before 2000s, I believe, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the only
Yeah, so
stipulation. That's
I have one show. It's 1999 on the cusp.
Okay.
All right, Muppet Babies is number 15.
Nice.
Yep.
And it's a show I wish now here's the thing. Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars and like half the movies that are used as clips in that show. Why is there no release of that show yet? I want that show on home video so bad. I'll take a DVD if I have to. But
Babies.
I have another obscure one. I'm sorry, did you have something to say? I apologize.
No, I was just singing. Go ahead.
I didn't want to talk over you. Sorry. So, The Bots Master, imported to the States by Saban, the guys who did Power Rangers. Bots Master was this awesome, transforming, combining robot show about a kid who got some robots that were fighting this evil corporation. It ran from 1993 to I don't know when. One season, so 1993, 1994 for 40 episodes. That was kind of cool. And it's owned by Disney. Why is that not on home video? Jesus Christ. It had a toy line also. Great toys.
Never heard of it, but I trust your...
It's a cult show. No one's heard of that one. That's right. It's like Cyber 6. How many people know who Cyber 6 or Bionic 6 for that matter?
Bionic 6, I know of. I know about.
But a lot of people don't know that show.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those. Anyway, Cyber 9, The New Dawn. Now, this is cheating, but only halfway. It was from 1999. 10 episodes aired. It was canceled. In 2007, they re-aired the first 10 episodes and had finished the animation for the show and showed the brand new 12 remaining episodes from the show. So the last 12 episodes were made like almost a decade later. So, but the first episodes did premiere on September 25th, 1999. In fact, can I get to it? Where the hell is it? Nope, I can't get to it. The coolest toy was this robotic King Kong-like figure. I actually have it. It's way the fuck up there, and I don't have a foot. I don't want to get the footstool to get it, but it's a really fucking cool toy.
Okay.
So it's a very underrated show. Everyone should check that one out. All right, X-Men the Animated Series, number 12.
Yes.
A lot of comic book ones on here. Sorry. That's one of the best adaptations of the X-Men ever. Because let's be honest, the first two movies weren't that great at adapting what we know as the X-Men. So next we have the 1998 cartoon series Godzilla the Series, which is better than the 1988 movie. It picks up right after the movie ends with the Tatopoulos finding the surviving egg, and that Godzilla creature growing to a large size, and it was part of their team because it thought it was his mom. So it's a really great series.
Skin, you might be a little, I don't know, you probably might remember. You remember that there was a Godzilla cartoon before the 90s?
Still made released that.
79.
No, Hanna-Barbera. Excuse me. Hanna-Barbera.
Yep.
Was it 20 stories tall? Something. I don't remember the lyrics. Sorry. Actually, I remember part of it. All right, here's another obscure one for you guys. Sky Surfer Strike Force.
Wow. Obscure.
Never heard of that.
It was a mid-90s show. There were only 26 episodes. Aired on the Sci-Fi Channel and on BKN, if you guys remember that. It was... how do I explain it? It was kind of like G.I. Joe and Mask, but like they use these flying surfboards essentially. Like I don't know, it's a weird show. It wasn't for everyone. I really enjoyed it. So, except for the character named Crazy Stunts, because that guy was dumb. But Number 9, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Of which I had the complete series right there, which you can barely see.
Yeah.
In the van. One of the greatest shows of all time.
Yes.
Had to be there.
I'd agree.
Number 8 is Spider-Man the Animated Series from the 90s,
Good one.
which is still the best Spider-Man. And the 90s had great comic book adaptations for characters. That I have to give them that. You know, the 90s was sucked for a lot of things, but cartoons was not it. So, then we had Justice League Unlimited, which is also slightly cheating. I think actually that may be cheating completely. Hold on.
Like 2000s?
Yeah, I think it is. I gotta double check.
Well, we get the concept. You know what I mean? There's a lot of adaptation.
Oh yeah, that totally cheated. That was 2004. All right, I cheated. I'm sorry. I cheated on 1, and then of course number 6, Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
5 is Real Ghostbusters.
Nice.
Here's one I didn't see you guys talk about: Silver Surfer from the 90s.
Ooh.
Yeah, no.
Probably one of the most adult shows that was a cartoon for kids, and also one of the cooler toy lines. In fact, once again, I can't reach it, but I got a Better Ray Bill figure from that show.
Nice.
It's actually one of the better figures from that line. Alright, and then Batman the Animated Series, probably the greatest cartoon ever made.
Yep.
In my opinion, even though it's only number 3 on my list. Number 2 is G.I. Joe. Specifically, I really like the second series, even though it's terrible. Mainly because I love the toys from that. And of course, number 1, Transformers. But
Wow.
you guys probably would have guessed that if you talked about. I said it was my favorite thing ever.
So we said Voltron. We had G.I. Joe earlier. I think it was like 16. But again, it's all based on your preferences.
Of course.
With any cartoons. But I got some honorable mentions that none of us even mentioned. I mean, a lot of the classics.
I have 4.
Okay. Go ahead and say your 4.
Bill and Ted,
Yep, I
Back
have.
to the Future,
Wow.
Ace Ventura, and I
Wow.
just went blank on the last one. Hold on. Ace Ventura. Oh, Weird Al, the Weird Al Show.
Nice. So
All from the same animation studio, I'm pretty sure, in fact.
along the same lines of cartoons adapted from movies, you had Beetlejuice, you had RoboCop, you had Mr. T, you had Teen Wolf, you had Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That was a great show, by the way.
I
forgot about that. I would have put that on my list, actually.
The Pink Panther. Ooh, that I don't know if the movie came first, by the way.
The movie came later, I believe.
You had Police Academy. You
Yeah,
had
that was an awful show.
Toxic Crusaders.
Another really great one I totally forgot would totally made my list.
Swamp Thing.
Another great show.
Rambo.
Only 5 episodes of Swamp Thing, I think.
Yep, you had Rambo, The Force of Freedom.
Oh, that's terrible.
You had Little Shop, which was Little Shop on Horrors.
Never saw that one.
You had Ewoks, 85 through 86.
Oh, Lord. And what did you have the other Star Wars on there next?
Star Wars Droids.
Right, you better. I was going to admonish you if you forgot that one.
Yeah. You have Never Ending Story, came out in 95, 96.
There was an animated series for that?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Addams Family in 92. You had Conan the Adventurer. I don't remember that one.
Fantastic show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, the Shout Factory releases are pretty good except for the typos. Fucking
And the
typos
last
all
one
over.
I got was 4, actually, movies that were adapted into cartoons was the Jackie Chan cartoons.
You forgot Chuck Norris and the Karate Commandos.
Oh, didn't even...
Yeah,
It's the only thing I can think of that you forgot from the movie adaptations.
Yeah, so...
I'm sure there's 1 or 2 more.
Yeah. I know there was a Karate Kid, right?
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah, it was.
Fuck,
There
I
was.
know. Do you know it wasn't a cartoon? There's 2 shows that weren't cartoons, but I totally wanted to put on my list anyways. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Yep.
And WMAC Masters, which was wrestling for martial arts.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Do you guys remember WMAC Masters? Nobody remembers this. I'm asking, knowing full well you probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Alright. WMAC Masters was a live-action show with these dudes who played characters like Nightwolf and I don't remember the goddamn cyborg's name fuck it. There's a guy with a tiger in his name who had yellow pants. And what they would do is they would have these vignette skits where they get into a fight or some other thing, and they would have these fights where what happens is each person has to enter the arena, and in the arena they both have to fight ninjas or other such thugs, and if they survive that, then they have to fight each other. And the winner is like they resolve their fight. It's a show in which they resolve all their conflicts through kicking each other in the face. So it's
Is this on video? Is this on video?
It's nowhere on home video. I have found like 2 episodes on YouTube, and that's it.
VHS even?
2 episodes on YouTube, and that's it, man.
Wow, man, that sounds.
It's so fucking hard to find.
Was it like a local thing, like in your area only, maybe?
No, it was nationwide. It was on Fox, dude.
Oh my god.
Fox in the 90s, though. So I mean, you know, whatever that means.
Okay, before you go on your honorable mentions, John, I just want to talk about cartoons that were adapted into movies. So you have Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Mm-hmm.
They made movies. Garfield, they made movies.
Mm-hmm.
Speed Racer, they made a movie.
Oh, another great show. Great movie, too.
Yep. I don't know which one came first, but Garbage Pails. Garbage Pail Kids.
There were cards first.
Yes.
Then they became... There was a cartoon. I know there was a movie.
So
there was a cartoon.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Cartoon in '87. Charlie Brown, that came from comics, but that was just recently made into a movie.
It was also made into movies after it became a TV show, too. So, to be fair, yeah.
You have Casper and the Angels in 1979. The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, of course, they have a lot of movies. Richie Rich.
And he had a co-show with Scooby-Doo, in fact, the Richie Rich Scooby-Doo show.
Oh. Stuart Little and King Arthur and the Knights of Justice.
And Stuart Little was a book before it was any of those other things. And King Arthur and the Knights of Justice got a movie?
Well, King Arthur, the movie.
That doesn't count! Oh, man. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice was so steampunk, though. It was cool.
I know. Come on,
that's a great $6 DVD pickup, by the way, if anyone's interested. That's a great $6 pickup.
Oh, shit.
All right, you got any honorable mentions, Jones?
I do, man. I think, who mentioned Teen Wolf? Hoarder mentioned Teen Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
From 86 to 87, like I said, I was fascinated with anything like werewolf and shit since I'm a young kid. So Teen Wolf, saw the movie first. Obviously, the movie spawned the cartoon based on the movie. Another one which I might get hate for, but whatever, I don't fucking care because I liked it, and that was Filmation's Ghostbusters.
Fuck yeah, that shit was awesome.
Dude.
It was bad.
Skin was like schooling people in the chat because he was talking about how it was the 1970s, live action with the gorilla and fucking and everything, and then
so bad.
Well, basically, like the characters in this, if you can see him, I think his name was Tracy, the fucking gorilla.
Yep.
And then the blonde guy and the chubby guy.
Alive too. Don't forget.
Yep. Were the sons of the guys who played in the live action series, supposedly.
AK Crush reminded me of something. Ronin Warriors was a great show that none of us mentioned. It's another 90s show. And here's one I'll get hate for: Sailor Moon. I love that show. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
Yeah, we were talking about like Gem too. Gem and the Hologram.
Oh, yeah, Gem is shit. I didn't watch Gem as a kid. I watched it as an adult. So
yeah,
different.
That's like my wife's favorite cartoon is Gem. She had the figures and everything, she told me. But I did watch a few episodes of that as a kid, man. So surprisingly. One that nobody has and you guys all forget about because I'm the most ancient one in these streams
You're
here.
Like almost 10 years old. You're over 10 years older than me. I'm almost 34, man. Almost.
Yep. Hanna-Barbera's 1980 to 82. Very short-lived. The Drat Pack.
Oh, I've never seen that show. I've seen the DVD. Oh. Did either of you guys mention Herculoids?
No,
but that's in my alternate.
That was a show. That was a show that was before my time, but I had recorded episodes. It was before my memorable time,
What was
the Herculoids was awesome, dude.
What was Dracula about? What Dracoid? Drat Pack? What was that about?
Drat Pack was these like basically it was like 3 teenagers and they were friends and everything, and they transform into one transforms into descendants of Dracula, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein, and they go off on these little adventures and stuff like that. But pretty cool show. My one I did have, and I saw somebody mention this in the chat, which it's a Disney one, and I actually got into this. This was like mid '90s to later '90s, and that's Gargoyles.
That was
From
we
94
talked
to
about in
90
the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, someone mentioned Brett.
I love
So there was that.
Blu-ray
What?
Fanatic, I believe, mentioned that.
Oh, Brett the movie guy mentioned that.
Oh, Brett the movie guy. Right. Sorry, I knew it was a B. It wasn't me. I know that. I was talking to him after that, but yeah.
I got one that Skin had, and that's X-Men from '92 to '97.
I need to buy that series still. I'm an asshole for waiting 8 years to buy it.
One nobody mentioned, and this character goes back to the '40s, and it went on in some kind of form up until the 2000s. That's Woody Woodpecker, man.
Oh,
That's classic, man.
Yep. And
Mighty
what?
Mouse also.
Two more. That's all I got. Flash Gordon, the 1979 to 1982 Filmation series. Flash Gordon.
Never watched it.
Yep. And Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels.
I thought you were gonna say Defenders of the Earth.
Yeah.
Damn.
I have that set. I have that Defenders of the Earth set actually.
Defenders of the Earth. I fucking love that. It's
Yep.
got Flash Gordon, the Phantom, Mandrake the Magician, and some other dude I can never fucking remember.
Oh.
I feel bad. I can't remember the dude, but and all their kids, of course.
Yep.
So that was a great show. That show got reruns along with Bionic 6 on Sci-Fi in the 90s. A show I didn't mention, I forgot, Pokemon. That started in the 90s too.
Yep.
That was a really great show. The first few seasons were excellent.
Remember Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Wars?
Fuck yeah, Bucky O'Hare, man. That was the shit. That game was awesome.
Yep. How about
Maybe
Cops? Cops Central Organization of Police Special Agents.
Yep.
I remember Cops. How about Jason the Wheeled Warriors?
Yep.
Yes.
How about
Adventure of the Galaxy Rangers?
yes, that was a good one. Creepy Crawlers. That ran from 95 to 97.
Never saw that show.
Never heard of that.
The Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin was the shit.
Yeah.
I put my original pressing Power Slave tape in Teddy Ruxpin. He played Flash of the Blade for me all the fucking time.
Crazy. And then some TV
Stole that
shows.
tape too from a friend's older brother, actually.
You remember, they made an actual cartoon of Punky Brewster.
Yep.
Yes, they did.
Yep. And then, of course, you got the girl ones, the My Little Pony, the Rainbow Bright.
Hey! Well, let's not be sexist. Take me for anybody.
Yeah,
All right. She-Ra's was the shit. I watched more She-Ra than I watched She-Man.
She-Ra was good, man.
Hordak was the guy I loved. I love villains, man.
Spirit the horse or unicorn, whatever that was. You had Care Bears, of course.
Care Bear Cousins is more my speed, but yes.
Yeah, I preferred the Shirt Tails. That was my number 20.
Yeah.
Denver the Last Dinosaur.
Denver, the last dinosaur.
Yep.
He's my friend and a whole lot more. I used to watch a lot of that show.
Along the same lines, man, Dino Saucers. That was dope.
Dino Saucers. I know all the theme songs. I'm sorry. Dino Riders. Did we get
Dino
yet?
Riders, 88.
I
You
don't know
remember
the theme song for that.
the Family Nest, the Loch Ness Monster cartoon, 84, Family Nest?
How about the Captain N, the Game Master?
Oh, yes.
And the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, paisanos.
Yep.
So,
Captain Lou Albano.
on to video game cartoons, you have Adventures, Sonic the Hedgehog, Double Dragon, Mega Man, 1984, Pole Position, there was a cartoon.
Yep.
Legend of Zelda,
Pole Position was awesome.
92 Battletoads, Earthworm Jim, Street Fighter, and Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair.
Never got to see that. I played the arcade machine once.
Yeah. So
Played a
some
remaster before.
animal cartoons. Fuck, we forgot Yogi Bear.
Marsupilami,
Yeah, the raccoons.
Care Bears.
Danger Mouse, Mighty Mouse,
Mhm.
Droopy, Hong Kong Phooey,
Haha.
Eat the Cat, Dogtanian and the Three Musket Hounds.
I almost forgot Inhumanoids. Son of a bitch.
Humanoids.
It was a great show.
Animals
Hong Kong Phooey,
of
yeah.
the Farthing Wood. I don't know why I put that. That's like something movie Cave Dave would know.
The caveman. Sorry.
The Wuzzles. You remember the Wuzzles?
Did you
Man.
say SWAT Cats?
SWAT Cats, yeah.
I loved SWAT Cats. That was a great show.
But the Wuzzles, man, they would like have animal combos. They would like be mixed between
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a giraffe
The
and lion.
bee lion. What about the Monchichis?
Oh, Chi-Chis,
I
yeah.
don't have a Monchichi around here. Did
Yeah.
Popples have a cartoon?
Yep, Popples.
Because I had a purple Popple.
1982, the Get Along Gang. You remember that?
The Get Along Gang, man.
Never seen it.
Get Along Gang.
I had a
Pound.
purple Popple named Rory.
Then we had Looney Tunes, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Bobby's World.
Freakazoid. Eat the cat.
Yep, Tick, the Tick.
Super Dave Osborne. Oh, The Tick was amazing. Oh my god. The Tick is one of the greatest cartoons because there's so many double entendres that as an adult you totally enjoy it. It's hilariously dark and hilariously raunchy at times. And also just really genuinely funny. I should have put that on my list. I feel guilty.
Somebody say Monchichis?
Yeah.
Hey, Monchichis!
Yeah, so you're looking at classics that we forgot to mention. Of course, Popeye, Rocky and Bullwinkle,
Yeah.
Dennis the Menace.
I'm sure someone said Smurfs, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Smurfs. Bernstein Bears, Top Cat. You remember Top Cat?
I love Top Cat.
Yeah, I remember Top Cat. Heathcliff? Anyone mention Heathcliff yet?
Yeah, I did. That was my number, I think, 17. Jetsons,
I must have missed that.
Wally Gator,
Here.
Speed Buggy.
Speed Buggy was the shit.
Yeah, dude.
Wacky Races. Oh my god, they're just trying to Wacky Races.
We had some Disney. Of course, you mentioned Darkwing Duck, Count Duckula.
That was a good show.
Goof Troop.
That was a great show.
Then you had Little Mermaid and Aladdin spin-offs.
I didn't really like those shows personally.
Okay, you mentioned Galaxy Rangers, but how about Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs?
Yes.
Goddamn right.
You had Brave Star.
Brave Star. Oh my god, how hilariously racist that show was from time to time.
Section Z. You said Jason the Wheel Warriors, Turbo Teen, the Mighty Orbots. That's
The Mighty oh my god.
I never even heard of that show.
yeah, you
Look up the Mighty Orbots, dude.
I'm
Look it
going
up.
to right now. As soon as I
remember Broke Ass Transformers Challenge of the GoBots?
yeah, GoBots was the shit, man. What are you talking about? Fuck you and your broke ass shit, dude. Future Machine was the greatest Super GoBot toy ever.
Ulysses 31,
Yep.
Starcom,
What about the Mighty Hercules? Hercules.
yeah,
The
Centurion.
long story.
Remember Mysterious Cities of Gold? That was that. I looked that up. That was
There's
like
also a Jungle Book show too. Same animator.
Biker Mice from Mars, dude.
Oh my god.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Oh, don't know that one.
What?
Yeah,
You missed
dude.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa? Oh, that was awesome. It was another cash-in, man. That was great.
Yep.
Visionary Knights of the Magical Light.
That is a great show. Visionaries.
Hey, did Sectors have a cartoon?
Not
Yeah.
sure.
Oh. No, I think it only had a toy line. Same with Gem Protectors. Only had a toy line.
Okay.
Captain Planet and the Planeteers, of
That was
course.
a pretty good show. That was actually a pretty bad show, actually.
Yeah.
On
So you
reflection.
said the Popples. How about Pirates of the Dark Water?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Skeleton Warriors.
Yeah.
Oh.
I watched both of those at the same time. You keep saying things and it reminds me because I was watching things concurrently with each other and I was like, oh yeah,
Dude, Mummy's Alive.
that show's terribly underrated. And the Sherlock Holmes of the 22nd century or 21st century is also an underrated show.
Yep.
Spartacus and the Sun Beneath the Sea. You had Serendipity, the Pink Dragon. I don't know why. That's
Never
not-
heard of it.
Then you had some MTV cartoons in the early 90s. Beavis and Butthead, Daria, Ren and Stimpy.
Max, the head,
You had Nickelodeon, or SpongeBob came out, and then
Real Monsters.
Angry Beavers, Cat Dog, Doug. How about Simpsons? No one says Simpsons.
It's because it was an adult evening show. That's why I kind of left it off.
Guy. Yeah.
Family Guy either, and that came out in '99.
Yeah, so some of you joining us, all those that you listed were mentioned. We, started about 3 hours ago, did top list. So,
It's true.
yeah, Silverhawks, dude, like, that was my number 5.
Full 2 hours ago, actually.
Honorable mentions. But, yeah, man, if there's anything else that we forgot, Eon Flux, that was, like, late 90s? I think?
Yeah, Aeon Flux, Max in the Head, that was the whole, adult, and Liquid Television. It was all, the adult animated MTV stuff. I like that. That's good stuff.
Okay, other than cartoons, guys, like what were some other kids shows, variety shows like Pee Wee's Playhouse that we watched?
Power Rangers, Masked Rider, VR Troopers, Tattoo Teenage Aliens from fucking Beverly Hills was terrible, but I remember it. That's all I can think of offhand.
Sesame Street?
Oh yeah?
Reading Rainbow? Come on.
Prime Rock?
Rainbow. Shit, I don't know that one, but Paddington Bear, remember that?
Yeah.
Paddington was a stop motion show, yeah. Fraggle Rock, man, that's
Who
just...
remembers Sherry Lewis Lamb Chops Play Along?
Oh my god, I know the lyrics to that song by heart. Because I used to go to I used to get dropped off at a friend's house because they get dropped off like 5 in the morning to walk to school because they were close to school, so I could walk to school from there. And his little sister watched that show every fucking morning.
Oh, shout out to Hoax. It was all about you can't do that on television. Hell
yeah.
Alanis Morissette in the early days was on that show.
That's a Canadian show.
Fucking Captain Kangaroo, man.
Yep, Captain Kangaroo, Fraggle Rock.
I said that.
Oh.
I said that a few minutes ago, actually. Twice. But that was a great show.
Anyone? Banana Man?
Bananas and Pajamas?
I
Bananas and pajamas are coming down the stairs. Bananas and pajamas are coming down in pairs. I used to watch that one all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Land of the Lost?
Living in the Land of the Lost. I like the second series, the remakes, the series more than the original series.
What was that little caveman dude's name?
Like if I remember.
Oh,
I watched it like 15 years, man.
Chaka.
Chaka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Babar, Madeline, those were like
Little kid shows.
yeah, not
That one was on HBO, actually. I had HBO. It's the only reason I know that.
Thomas the Train started in '84. Believe it or not, '84. Postman Pat is still going on.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. Oh, that's
rest in peace.
Yep.
Forever and ever.
Electric Company.
How about 1, 2, 3 Contact, bitches?
1, 2, 3 Contact.
1,
You know who's in that?
3.
You know who's in that as the Bloodhound Gang? The dude from the Warriors with the afro.
Oh,
Remember it?
Oh, right. What was the show with the kids? Kids Incorporated? Kids Incorporated.
Yes.
Kids Incorporated. It's a Bloodhound Gang, and that reminded me of that they covered the song from Kids Incorporated, and that was the kid show that was on at the time. So. My favorite bodyguard, or it's my bodyguard. Fuck, what was that show called?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my god.
You remember the regular on evening TV sitcom Dinosaurs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, not the mama.
Yeah, so people that are just joining Hoax, Culture Trini, Captain Caveman, yep, definitely. That's one on there. But who's the rooster dude on Looney Tunes? The big
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See. And then the chick, the fucking tomahawk Indian chick, his little sidekick or enemy.
Oh, the chicken hawk.
Yeah.
He's always trying to eat him and shit.
The cartoon about soccer called The Hurricanes, that was on there. I don't know.
Never heard of that one.
Me either.
So, yeah, I mean cartoons. You guys, we named
Nearly all of them.
Yeah, about all 100. But yeah, we had David the Gnome on there in 1985. Shout out to SKINSLIP. That was on his list. That was on my honorable mentions. But yeah, like Bobby's World. There was some like in the late 90s that.
Oh, Bobby's World. Oh my god, I wish that had a home video release. I would love that series so much. There's Eat the Cat and what the fuck was that other show I'm thinking of? There's another show from Fox in the 90s.
Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Oh, what about Saved by the Bell? That was another kid show.
That was every Saturday, dude.
Goddamn right.
Saved by the Bell.
Zach Morris can't lose, man.
Yes. But yeah, this is just a series that we're doing retro stuff that brings nostalgia. I mean, other topics, we're thinking of, we could do TV shows. We could do game shows. Shit. We could do a whole thing on
Double Dare! Sorry.
fucking Double Dare. How about Name That Tune? That's probably before your
How
time.
about Legends of the Hidden Temple and Nick Arcade?
Guts. Fuck.
Guts! Oh my god, I had such a crush on Mo. I had such a crush on Mo. And also, I've been on a 10-year quest to get a piece of the aggro crag, because it is my theory that they're... Okay, so here, actually, it's not my theory. The truth is the aggro crag was, you could take a piece of the aggro crag, or you can get this cash bonus instead. I
Yeah.
almost always took the cash bonus, because money.
But
So I don't think anyone actually has an aggro crag. I've been looking for one for years. I want one.
can't name any more because we're going to spoil a next episode or
Yeah, I
another
know.
episode. But,
Fair.
I mean, those of you that joined us, appreciate it. You guys got any questions regarding cartoons? So, fuck, don't be spoiling shit. That was actually my favorite show growing up, Supermarket Sweep.
Oh
my
my
God.
god!
That was my shit, man. Remember
Brothers Keepers.
the old lady be throwing hams and shit in her cart? She'd be like 16 pounds. Can't even lift them, but she would be ordering them.
I'm totally down for a TV show episode. I could
Yeah.
totally talk
No.
your ears off about all these obscure shows you've probably never heard of. I love lots of all these obscure shows.
You'd be surprised, Slip. I know a lot.
I probably would be surprised, honestly.
Mhm.
And I'd be happy to be surprised. It's a great surprise. You're like, really? You also know about Earth 2? Hell yeah! You know?
Yeah. So there was also Shop Till You Drop. Fucking shit, man.
Finders Keepers was a similar vein, but it was like a house instead.
Yeah. But that, I mean. So, hey, NZ. Shout out to NZ. Sub, buddy. Sub to all of us. SKINSLIP, John Steele, everyone in the chat. Sub to each other, man. You want to see more of these episodes?
You don't have to sub to me. That's alright. I don't mind. I don't care. I don't take it personal. Though I am only like 63 away from like 1,000, so maybe 63 of you motherfuckers could sub to me. Is all I'm
There
saying.
you go.
Just
Yeah.
63 of you. It's not asking too much. I don't think.
Yeah. So, guys, we did our top 20. We had numerous honorable mentions. We talked about... So, SKINSLIP, in the beginning, we talked about, cartoons in our childhood. You kind of want to speak about what cartoons meant to you? I know you're a big fan as an adult, but as a kid, like, what was watching cartoons and how did you go about it back in...
Okay, I'll get real personal here. Cartoons and those subsequent television shows in the 90s that I love so much were probably the only times me and my father get along. So watching cartoons in the 80s and early 90s was a thing I did with my dad. I'd lay on the couch and he'd sit there and watch cartoons with me. And so there's a fondness there, but cartoons to me, they've always reminded me of that time I spent with my father. My father's still alive, so it's not like a super sad story or anything.
Oh, I know, and he's cool because he collects Star Wars figures.
I will be doing a video when he's done decorating that room. He's not done. I showed off a bunch of that, and since then he's put 4 more shelves in.
Damn.
I know, I'm going to show it off when he's done. I'm like, this is my dad's Star Wars collection. He's a little nuts with it.
Dude, that's fucking cool as hell, man.
And he's not crazy about it. He goes to the store, he buys like one thing Star Wars. He's been doing it for 20 years, since the early 90s, But yeah, no, cartoons for me have always been that warm, fuzzy feeling of spending time with my dad, and getting along with him.
Yeah, we said we remember, shit, Saturday morning waking up early, making a bowl full of cereal and just, waiting for your favorite cartoon.
Hell
But
yeah.
you weren't here when I said I was the youngest of 4, and shit, I was bottom of the totem pole, so whatever was on, like my brother's choice, then it was my sister's. Pretty much, that's why I said I had some of those,
You got the shitty 11 a.m. slot, didn't you?
Yes. Well, it was tough too because my mom at the time would, watch her soap operas, Days of Our Lives. So
11 a.m. to noon was the dumping ground for the shows that weren't popular.
Yep, that's true, man.
yeah, Jerry Springer.
Jerry. I remember that shit. And Ricky Lake. Oh, God.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh shit, Ricky Lake. Go
Daytime
Ricky.
television.
Go Ricky. But yeah, John, you want to close this out? I think we're at that 3-hour mark, and that's about right for these type of episodes.
Yeah, want to thank everybody who came in the stream. Definitely want to thank SKINSLIP for coming through like on the fly. Like his list was like done in like seconds, literally. We got 5 people watching still, so shout outs to them. Big ups to everybody who stayed throughout the whole thing and watched the whole thing. Fuck the haters, whoever gave us a thumbs down. I don't know who that was, but fuck you very much. All right.
I still love you.
It was that person that just left. Now there's 4 watching. Anyway, so.
Fuck you for sticking around and downloading anyway. That's
it.
Don't hate watch shit. Spend your time doing something useful.
But definitely, man, definitely like Hoarder said, man, we'll have like periodic guests on here, and you know, maybe me and Hoarder or I can't be on. Somebody else can host it, like Leroy or 4K or Crush. If they want to do it, but for the most part, it'll be me, Hoarder, and the usual crew, and then we'll bring in other people. Other top 20 lists. Everything's retro, so it has to be before the year 2000. And you know, Skin, once again, you blew my fucking mind with like all the shit that you know, like that stuff that we don't know, but stuff that you remembered and that we remembered. Hoarder, me and Hoarder have the fucking same brain. Number 6 and number 8 in the same spot on our papers and shit. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, man. So this has been fun, and you know, if you guys like this, you know, come back, and we're gonna be doing this either every week or every other week, man.
Hey, give us a suggestion. If you're like a pro at something, you know, you can be a guest. I mean, today was, you know, last night was Easter, so a lot of the regulars couldn't be here, or this wasn't necessarily a topic that they were, you know, they didn't grow up watching cartoons. So, yeah, we have our regulars. We'll have guests, but it's always cool to get people in the community that love talking about, you know, their passions and nostalgia growing up. So the whole point of this is educating and getting people to branch out to fucking watch, you know, things that you may love. If you guys could, no, we thought about that, Hoax, is retro snacks. How about fucking, remember Bonkers? Remember those candies? Yes. Fucking certain cereals. We talked about
Cheetos like, Paws that come back only during Halloween now?
Yeah, Mr. T cereal? Come on, man. But, yeah, if you guys go ahead, list after this uploads down beneath in the comments of suggestions, what you'd like to see us to do, if you would like to be a guest on a particular topic. But it's not just limited to movies, guys. We could go into horror, we could go into comedies, we could go into actors, actresses, TV shows, snacks. I'm not going to list a couple of them because they're up.
Favorite toys. Come on, let's do a toy stream, huh?
Yep. That's coming too, but it's, yeah, this is fun for us. It's like I said, as long as you guys keep watching, we'll keep doing it.
Like, if it's not fun, why are you doing it, right?
There he is. Look at that. Black
Star, yes. I'm surprised you haven't melted your figure yet with the random spark that happens. You can actually catch that thing on fire and shit.
So Hoax, man, we can get you your YouTube live stream debut. You don't make videos or with you on them, so who knows, man? Just turn off your camera.
I want to say thank you to John Steele. I appreciate you saying those kind words for me, but I'm not like smart or anything. I've just never been cool, so.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm always a hit with the ladies.
You're cool with me, dude. You're cool with me, man.
That's all that matters to me.
You know what?
I'm cool. That's all that matters.
You put your beard in a ponytail. Braid it.
I'm going to be braiding. That's why it's getting so. You see how long it is?
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's fucking long.
It's just curly because it's part of my shitty heritage. Curly hair.
All right. So last thing is go check out John Steele's channel over at John Steele. He's trying to hit 300, so
sub to him or I hate you. That's the answer.
Yep. He's the real deal. The realest brother on YouTube. So
by the way, I'm gonna say some nice thing about John Steele. You had the coolest fucking updates when you do those like rap poem, like beat poetry type thing with the title. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Spoken word.
You like that?
That shit is so fucking unique. That's you. Keep doing that shit, brother. I love those.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Definitely. I appreciate that.
Because no one else does that shit. It's unique.
I didn't think many people watch it, but like me hearing that now, man, I'll definitely do more.
Don't worry about the views. Just know that they'll come eventually. People will find you and fall in love with your content eventually. It just takes time. It takes longer for others. I've been doing this for like 3.5 years. I barely have 1,000. I have a friend who's been doing it for 3 years and has 1,500. You know, it just the way it goes. Yep. Just keep doing your thing, man. You trust me. Views will come.
Okay, and then SKINSLIP, he's an OG of YouTube, man. He talks everything, man. He talks shit. He talks.
I just don't give a fuck, man.
He's the epitome of geekdom. He lives, breathes toys, video games, movies. But seriously, he knows his shit. Like some of the fucking obscurest shit. He knows it. And he does occasional streams, collab videos. Go check him out. And definitely am honored to have him as a guest, so to speak.
Honored to be here.
And thanks for watching, man. Everybody, can't thank you enough. This is the Blu-ray Hoarder signing off. Okay.